Recording.
All right. Unzipping the Files, Episode 2, with Alejandro and Skarmory, and our guest this week, Chris Egan.
Howdy.
Howdy. All right. So the biggest thing that happened this week so far is definitely that Trump thing.
Yeah, Trump got indicted.
I'm keeping that one slightly slower. It definitely happened in New York, but I'm not sure where in New York.
I want to say it was out of Manhattan for hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. I haven't seen
It's about
much
that, yes.
into it, but I am going to look into it now. But Top G is out.
Top G? Who's Top G?
Who's Top G?
Andrew Tate. He's been
Andrew Tate
is out?
Well, he's put on
Why is he out?
Yeah, he's on house arrest. But let's get to the Trump thing, because I'm kind of interested in what happened with the Trump thing.
Basically, from what I know, he's been indicted. They have not mentioned if the goal is for him to serve jail time, and they think this will greatly affect his presidential campaign. That's it. There's not much on here. Trump's team was also caught off guard. Defense team supposedly. They expected this to happen in a few more weeks. They did not expect it to happen right now.
All right. So I actually have a new headline. 15 minutes ago, there's at least one felony charge in this New York case. He's facing multiple charges of falsifying business records, including at least one felony offense, in the indictment handed down by the Manhattan grand jury. Blah, 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 they told Associated. It'll be for his hush money. He's going to be arrested for it. Yeah, I don't want to keep reading past that point, but that's the first paragraph of this article that I'm about to send.
By the Associated Press?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm seeing business-related fraud or business fraud.
Oh wait, no, use this one. Group chat, just so I don't have to be linking a bunch of videos in.
Yeah.
I guess that chat wouldn't have been terrible. Nothing but used here. AP sources, Trump facing at least one felony. Huh. I'm not reading the same one. Interesting. I was reading one called Donald Trump indicted, expected to surrender early next week.
Yeah, I see that one too. That one came out today.
Yeah, that came out today.
The one that I sent you came out 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. One may be more comprehensive. The other one may just be more... Anyways, yeah.
I don't think Trump's gonna become. I don't think Trump is gonna win the next presidency in 2024.
I don't.
Against.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the big wave he got initially was has since worn off. You know what I mean? There's not too, because when he first ran, it was oh man, he's different. He's an outsider, kind of like Jimmy Carter. Now it's very clear. Yeah, it's actually, fun fact, he wasn't really a peanut farmer. Him and his family owned more a shipping, peanut shipping kind of thing, peanut storage. More everything surrounding peanuts. They didn't really get in the fields in the mud.
I expected Jimmy Carter to do that. I expected it'd be a farm he owned with people working on it.
Yeah, and that was also kind of part of his appeal, because this was on the tail end of Nixon and Watergate and all that shit. He wanted to appeal as an outsider who didn't have any of those ties, and a peanut farmer just sounds so goddamn foreign and so bumfuck.
You connect with the people.
So bumfuck. I like that.
Yeah. So he played his card right, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think you're right. That's a big reason I think why Jimmy Carter wasn't elected a second time too. Because once he got in, what did he really do? I know he got blamed for the Iranian
that's what
hostage situation.
I think we should look at what happened to him, which is getting blamed for the Iranian hostage situation. I think even the terrorists explicitly saying, as long as Jimmy Carter's in office, the hostages stay.
Yeah.
It's
and I feel similarly, Trump can get blamed for the whole coronavirus, the way that we half-ass shut down. That make sense?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is also it's him and it's the people he appointed, but it's also I feel like he really didn't help out in the situation.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain on a lot of the details. I haven't really kept up with anything in the past maybe year and a half. But I remember when ivermectin was a big deal, and that was very divisive. He was
actually.
on the
I
side
remember
of
when
it.
he said, "Let's inject our veins with bleach. Why can't we do that?"
Yeah,
Like that kind of thing. Even if it was him just being himself, right, kind of stupid. It was like, why is my right now? Like, what is going on?
We can rift, and you can like say like I can say things to you guys while having a couple beers. When you're having a official press conference as the president, you can't just let whatever crosses your mind come out your mouth. That's just
no. There has to be a filter.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
Dude, I don't know. It's not good, but there's the cope that some people had that no, he did not mean what he said up there, and defending Trump in that entire situation were like, actually, it's based off this way more complicated research. You wouldn't understand it, you know.
Yeah, I had heard that he said something. I promise I'm misquoting him. But it was something like putting bleach in your mouth or something like that, or drinking bleach. It was more like if you just kind of swish it like mouthwash. It would be like a good pressure measure.
No, it's crazy. He says like mouthwash. We have something that kills germs in your mouth. It's called mouthwash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's
like smart mouth.
For the whole like bleach thing, there was a study that came out of some school, and what they found in, I think it was India, what they were telling the doctors to do that were treating people with coronavirus, where they were basically supposed to cleanse their nose and their mouth with like 8 ounces of water and I think it was like a couple drops of bleach or something, and swoosh that around to kill the viral load that you intake while being outside. And that was one of the studies they did. Yeah, but and I don't think you put the bleach up into your into like your sinuses, because I think once coronavirus, and I don't really know about this, but once that viral load reaches that far back, I don't know if you can really get rid of it. But the idea was to cut back on the amount of coronavirus you have in your like extremities and eliminating that, and hopefully your body can fight the rest of it.
This is also like what 2020 COVID. Like no one really knew that much about it yet, and all that blah blah.
Well, I feel like when he said the bleach thing, it was a bit later, like maybe 2021 or 2, but I'm not positive.
I swear it was the year of the quarantine, where like about ways like the first 2 or 3 months probably that he said this,
which was like 2019, right?
No,
like
the quarantine hit in 2020.
That's what I'm saying. Like late 2019 is when like COVID really like first started.
In China,
like I remember December, people were talking about it, and then here in like February is when we started shutting down.
We shut down in March because that's when I was in my co-op.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
but it's also weird because it's like what he was saying was probably
had some basis in reality.
Yeah, like there was actually like the newest science on this and how to fight this is this. But because he's an idiot, because he doesn't actually read, and because he has too much of an ego to like actually not just
double down on something,
yes, he'll just go for it, and then he looks like an idiot, and it's like I don't know. There's no process.
Look, man, looks like a duck, sounds like a duck.
Probably a duck.
Just saying, brother. I'm just saying, brother.
Yeah. Tastes like chicken, looks like a chicken. Probably a chicken.
My top G.
Andrew Tate finally getting out.
Andrew Tate. Okay,
he's on
but I thought he went. Okay, he's on house arrest. Is it because he's awaiting trial or why?
Yeah, generally. I think that's what it is.
In Romania? Where can I read about this? Show me your sources. Show me your sources right now.
Nah, Chris, you don't need to show any sources. You can just keep talking out of your ass.
Hold on.
I think most of us go with Associated Press as the source, news source.
I'm not
I listen to Joe Rogan. I don't know what AP is. Hey. Like AP classes?
AP class.
Yeah. Yeah, you haven't taken AP politics?
No, I did.
You
guys haven't taken AP loss cause theory? Come on.
Yeah, oh shit. Alright, I've watched Checkmate Lincolnites on YouTube. I think I know about the lost cause theory. Have you guys watched that? You, Chris and TJ?
Oh,
I have not heard of this. I have heard of the lost cause. I don't know what to call it, but the lost cause.
It's a myth. It's a myth. Just the easiest way of saying it. It's not true at all.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, the bit.
The lost cause bit.
Yeah, my high school history teacher taught me that specifically. That was like in the I'm not sure how this conformed to a common core, but it was on the test. Very interesting.
What was like on the test? What was actually like the?
So very pretty much he and it was a while back. I'm trying to remember it. But he was saying Abraham Lincoln did the Emancipation Proclamation and ended slavery to piss off the South, not out of the goodness of his own heart, not because it's a cool thing to do, but because it was a waging war against the South thing, and that the South seceded and was basically defending just states' rights and just going for states' rights. And
no slavery. It's always that. Slavery
yeah,
is a big part of this.
Of course, it's states' rights to do slavery, but it was like like that was. I think those are the two big points that he really was hammering home. But yeah, it's like, dude, come on. It's actually like you want to get a good grade in the class, but you want to also like
not come off.
Yeah.
Or those logs will come out of you at some point when people are looking through your education history. You're like, no, look at that. He claims that the reason the state seceded was states' rights in this essay right here. His open response question.
He clearly chose A on this multiple choice question. He
clearly chose A, and he got marked correctly. So
Oof. And I can see like, if you want it, like as a history teacher, I can see you saying like, okay, this is how things have turned out. And I think it'd be fair to like go back and you'd think as Abraham Lincoln as like, okay, and you can think about him as like multiple ways. That benevolent human being that just wanted to free slaves. Could also, I would say, the critical view of it, or like the
more realistic view.
Yeah,
as a politician, probably.
Like, well, it's like okay, you see this as a major sticking point for your entire country, and this may divide your country into two countries. Your only answer for this, if you want to remain, a country that doesn't just get taken over by the place you're trying to leave, Britain or another foreign power, is we just have to eliminate this and go about life. It's like I could see that being taught, where it was like, yeah, it was more of like a strategic thing for the country rather than a benevolent thing. Not saying that it wasn't, but like,
talking about the Emancipation Proclamation or the Civil War?
Say the Civil War, right?
Because you're saying the Civil War was something that needed to happen.
Yes.
Otherwise,
there were certain things, yes, because your country's falling apart, and you go, well, we're either going to be completely destroy ourselves, or we're going to be one thing. So let's fight to be one thing. Mm-hmm. Like I can see it being that, rather than like it says in the Bible, you got to treat each other,
Yeah, and
does the Bible say that, Chris?
There are slaves in the Bible. Now, there's certain ways you're supposed to treat slaves, and if a slave runs away, you're supposed to not chase after them. There's a lot of things like that where.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about
American
Always Sunny talking
is
about that.
Uniquely cruel. Like American slavery is giga insane. You own the children of somebody you owned is like.
Dude, that Checkmate Lincolnites guy, he goes into all this kind of stuff. It is.
What is his bit exactly? Is he?
So his main setup is going to be him arguing with himself, each one dressed as a Confederate soldier and a Union soldier. And he's basically pulling up comments that he gets left on his videos that are like arguing certain points of the last cause. And he'll kind of go through breaking them down. So he has a video on like states' rights. It wasn't about states' rights at all. And it's not only does he just prove the fact like no, like the states seceded for slavery, and this is how southern states used federal power to keep slavery intact in their states.
Yeah.
So the Confederates were not really about states' rights at all. Like states' rights is such a post thing. Here's his newest one was like, is Civil War history being rewritten? He's like, well, it is because we're undoing 100 years of lost cause, like education in the South.
Yeah.
And whenever there's a massive like racial
sense,
movement,
like all of history is being rewritten all the time. Because I think that there's this like idea that gets perpetuated a lot that history is written by the victors and only the victors. When the reality is that we have so many different sources that we can see how the victors have influenced the way they write their history and how other civilizations write that same history. And using all those sources, you can build a much better picture than if you just look at one thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things like olden histories. I don't think we're getting that much deeper into like what about ancient Greece. Like, there's no way we're about to find like a jackpot of a massive library where it's like this changes everything about how we saw the Greeks.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
guys, they weren't actually gay. They referred to women as men too. They only had one gender in their language. Like, we've never thought about this before. Like, huh?
I did actually see somewhere they've been looking at like Greek concrete and trying to deconstruct, what kind of concrete they're using for it still to be like around right now.
You mean Greek or Roman concrete? Because I think it's Roman, right? Where
It's Roman then.
they know that like some percent of it is ash, right? And then another
Well, it
percent of
was-
it is just stuff they don't know what it is.
Well, and that's something they were breaking down. And they said they found, and I read this like yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
In conjunction with seawater and some type of limestone. Basically, it's like the shavings of like limestone.
Yeah.
Basically, it dries out, but when it's wet, it kind of becomes almost self-healing. Like it becomes more malleable
Yeah.
and then fills in gaps.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
but that's also like something I've heard people talk about, like the ancient Egyptians being like an advanced society that's more advanced than now, and like other things like that. Like Greeks being able to have concrete better than ours, so they must have been more advanced. And it's like, or they found something that worked and stuck with it.
They got the
Yeah.
lucky dice roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
That's
also
one
had
of the-
this like thing in their economy where it wasn't completely capitalist based. They had slavery. They had like essentially free labor. So they could just throw labor at things to make things happen with more expensive materials, and the only cost is the materials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
you're also not trying to like imagine building Roman style roads for all of the interstates in our country, connecting them all across. Like I've heard so many things online of people saying like, maybe if we built roads like the Romans did, we wouldn't have to do it. I was like, imagine I-75, just that 2-lane road going from Georgia as far up as it goes, being like 4 foot thick.
Yeah.
That is an
No.
insane amount of money to do it.
crazy. Yeah.
Like,
That is a lot of money, and that's a lot of resources. Not that
And-
we can't
Not
do
to-
it. Not that I
Not
think
to
we
mention,
can't do it.
I don't
wouldn't be
think Roman concrete would be suited for like hundreds of cars traveling over it.
that
every single minute.
semi-trucks or military.
like the weight.
Yeah, like that's the
Yeah.
big thing about asphalt. It's not that it's super like it's not the most durable thing, but it's durable enough and easy enough to replace when it does break.
Yes.
For us
Yeah.
to be able to like do something new.
Although a good like our counter argument to that is we do have materials that are good at all that stuff. Like with the bridges, all the bridges we have made, a lot of them don't have asphalt on them. They are concrete bridges, and they last a long ass time. Definitely not as long as Roman bridges, right? But they still last a long ass time because they're designed to be more robust. And if a bridge starts to fail, you're in a lot of deep shit, you know?
Dude, I've seen so many pictures of people being like, "How is this bridge still standing?" And it is like the most rusted, like eroded away underside of a bridge that you can see. It's like an
Dude,
interstate one.
same with wooden bridges. Like, especially if you go to like just some rural places in Georgia.
We've
Like
seen them in a Blue Ridge.
Yeah,
Oh, we've
you'll
seen
see
them.
like straight wooden ones, and not even like a swinging bridge. You'll find some that are 100% wood, and it's like, and there's like sounds like saying, "Hey, if you have anything bigger than a sedan, don't fucking do it." You turn
Yeah.
around.
It'll be like two
it's fine
ton
though. You can drive over it though. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, new topic.
Yeah, let's talk about the shooting.
No, I don't want to talk about the shooting.
Which one? Which one?
Yeah, I was thinking the
No,
national.
I want to talk. I want to talk about the video I posted.
Which one?
Which one?
It's in the thing. It's called "Bus Driver
think I saw
Uppercuts
this.
Female Passenger." It's old video, I think.
I think I've seen this.
Oh,
Mhm.
I think I've seen a clip of this. This one's 6 minutes long. I don't think I've seen. The whole thing.
I put a timestamp at 22 seconds because like the beginning is like a news reporter talking. It's just a bunch of news stuff.
Oh,
So are we gonna queue up and watch
young
this, or how are we gonna-
Turks.
Yeah, we're gonna queue. Yeah, guys, don't start
The
watching this on your
Young
own.
Turks. Oh my.
Yeah, like I don't know what website this is. Don't watch it on your own. I'll queue up at 22 seconds and then we can all start at the same time. You can.
All right, let me actually put this in my.
The times. The link should be timestamped.
It is.
They are.
Yeah, so just follow that. All right, just let me know when you guys are ready. All right, 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, this video's pretty loud. Wham! Wham! Fucking throws her out the bus. Yeah, I'm not listening to it either.
I'm rewinding. Show me this. Ooh,
Dude,
Money
he
shot.
gets her. He gets her.
I mean,
God
Fucking-
damn.
up in his
Dexter.
right, comes through. I mean, that's textbook.
He warned
Yeah.
her. He warned her. I think she smacked him. Is that what happens? And then he
Yeah. Or I don't know if she smacks him. She at least makes contact. I don't know if it's a push or whatever.
like something like probably like bats the back of his head while
Actually,
he's driving.
what did he
or, like, his
mean? What did
back.
he mean when he said, "You look like you get your face cut up"?
She probably has like a scarred face. I think is something.
Oh,
Like,
that's
maybe
not,
she-
scar
maybe-
running down her
that's
face.
not fun anymore.
Or
Well,
maybe,
and that's
who
the-
knows? Maybe it's shaving scars.
Or
Maybe
maybe
they
not.
can't shave
Maybe
very
she was
well.
talking something else. I don't know.
I don't know. I just know I like when she said, "You can bring your mammy up here."
Oh, Peter ass too. That was,
Oh, Peter. Oh man.
God damn.
that's
No,
just
see, I think that's an appropriate response that a bus driver should have to someone being an ass on their bus if it's public transportation.
it's just
I
one
mean-
of those things where it's like somebody picked a fight with somebody,
And
and
lost.
the person who picked a fight got clapped. And it's like
Hey.
Yeah.
you hate to see people getting like, because there's a size difference between those two people, right? And you
Yes,
can say
like-
like man versus woman. There's that, but the big like the important thing about that is their size different, their strength differences are insane. And it's like that's me picking a fight with somebody who's 6'10", 100 pounds heavier than me, who's in good shape.
Well,
Like that's goofy. That is
he's
dumb.
not,
Yeah.
he's not scrawny, and he's wearing a jacket. It's kind of actually hard for you to tell like the full weight difference.
Dude,
No, I
that
think
dude is-
regardless of what the weight difference is, like an unprepared person taking a punch,
Yes.
you're gonna
that's a
feel
decent-sized
that.
dude. That's a decent
Yeah.
size
Yeah.
dude too. Like
Yeah, if he's like below 5'7", I think he's not really that tall anymore. And 2 5'7" people hitting each other, it might not be as impactful as like 2 6-foot people hitting each other. You know what I mean?
Whoa. Why are you saying 5'7" isn't that tall?
It's not.
I think it's as an average height individual myself, I think
Maybe
5'7" is
open.
pretty.
And what is that
tall.
average height?
Why is that important?
Think really carefully about what you're about to say, because I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. And remember, this is an international podcast. Don't use don't use the American average height. Use the international average height.
No, I use the
wasn't that
American
more
one.
beneficial?
Actually, I'll use the international one. That's actually way more beneficial. All
Why
those
the hell
short
does the
fucks in.
CDC say the average
Asia.
height is 5'9"? Why does the CDC have data on
Because
height?
the average height is 5'9" in the United States.
Well, I mean, also like if you go to like a checkup and they get your height or something.
Or like CDC.
Center for
Yeah,
Disease Control.
that makes sense. Like, that
They
makes
could also just be the only ones checking.
En masse, when you do like a health checkup, I guess that's like one of the metrics
I wouldn't
you
even
can
be
measure.
surprised if like
so-
voting
Yeah.
booths had your height, because like don't you need to show your license for that stuff, and your height's usually on the license.
Yeah, but you just get to tell them what you
You,
how
you
tall
can
you are.
absolutely
Yeah.
you can get away with like adding a few inches. Let me.
I mean, I
let me
got
tell you.
away.
Taking off a few pounds for.
That's what I got away with, taking away a few pounds.
I told him I was 135, and that lady was like, "Okay."
See, I told them my weight when I was like 16, wearing fucking size 28 skinny jeans, and it stayed the same. I'm not that same person.
Not T. Chris. The rest of us, me and Hori have been on the cut. I'm not sure if you have been on the cut too.
Well, this week I have been, but I'm going to the gym. But
So far,
Are
I've
we
been on the
doing-
cut for 1 week.
only
Can
one.
we do macro talk real quick?
No,
I want to ask you, Chris, what's your good source of
understand
cheap
macros.
protein?
Good source of cheap protein.
Is it gonna be
That's
canned
not
chicken?
chicken breast and eggs.
Okay. So for protein, I think it's important for you to have unless you have like an autoimmune disease or you have allergies to certain types of meat, I think it's most beneficial health-wise for you to have a variety of meats you're consuming. So I think beef is
Yes.
important. Ground beef, I think the more steak you can eat versus ground beef is going to be really good. Or
Okay.
Not cheap.
higher,
Like,
Yes,
that's the
so
problem,
it's
that it's not
more
cheap.
expensive.
Or ground beef is cheaper than like cuts of beef, right? Because I bought a
But ground beef
eye
is still
roast
expensive.
for like 6 something a pound
Yes.
versus ground beef, which is like 3 something, close to
Maybe
4 a pound.
$3.99. Yeah.
Yeah,
And if you get like the extra lean, that's just going to have less
That's-
calories per like.
which is useful, which is really useful for it to
Yeah.
have
It's
less
useful
calories.
for a cut, yeah.
And so but ground beef, I've read a lot about ground beef being not unhealthy, but it's basically the worst cut of or the worst type of beef you can buy, just because it's ground beef. It's just ground up chunks of beef put together.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I mean, eggs and chicken. You said not to name. I mean, those are, there's those. Also, protein powder
Yeah.
is not that expensive. Like, it depends what type of protein powder you buy. I recently just bought a 20 serving container of protein powder that is moon pie flavored. So like moon pie is like.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
bad.
Sounds
God.
gross, man.
It actually
See-
tastes like
Sounds
moon
gross.
See, I adore moon pies personally. They have a special place in my heart, both for nostalgia and because I like eating dried dough. But I know that's a hot take. Most people don't like it.
I was like,
They're
moon
not-
pies
Moon
are
pies
so
are fine
mid.
like every once in a while. Yeah, they're mid. They're mid more than anything.
Like, why not just like eat a honey bun?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think honey bun. If we do like a grocery, like a gas station like snack tier list, honey bun is pretty close to the top of it.
I think if we do like a gas station pastry tier list.
I think it should
Yeah.
be more. I think it should be broadened to like snacks in general, but kind of thin the herd out. Don't do like everything you'd find. Just
that's
the
the
high
issue.
points.
Yeah.
Maybe like chips, nuts, seeds,
Yeah.
pastries.
You know what? Speaking of seeds, we're doing this. Viewers, how do you eat sunflower seeds? Do you take the entire seed,
Oh my God,
put it in your
no.
mouth, chew it up, shell, and seed it, actually the seed itself, and then swallow the entire contents of the package? Or do you put the seed in your mouth, however many you like, chew it up, spit out the shell, and then swallow/chew up the actual soft seed bit on the inside? So to reiterate TLDR, do you eat the entire contents of the package, swallow it whole, or do you spit out the hard shell? Which one?
Obviously, they're eating the entire fucking seed because they're not
You just
fucking
eat
losers.
the seed.
Yeah, what?
You guys are
Who's
crazy.
like putting in that
pumpkin
much
seed.
effort to
People
eat
are
sunflower seed?
insane.
Just chew it up. We have molars for a reason.
Yeah, we have teeth.
like
Okay, but you can also eat the stem on an apple. If you can chew it up, that doesn't mean it's good for you to eat.
No. But the stem of an apple
No.
is like wood, and the
It does-
seed is not.
It
like
doesn't
that,
matter
same wood.
if it's toxic
Not to
to
mention-
you. It matters if you like eating fucking splinters. That's the
flavor-
difference.
the
But the
flavoring
seeds
is
aren't
on the
splinters.
shell.
Yeah, like
You
the shell
people
has
are
the flavoring.
insane. Yeah,
Yes, and so does bubblegum.
you have it. You have it
Swallow
anyway.
bubblegum?
The flavors of
Yes, I
powder
have
on
swallowed
the.
bubblegum. I have. Is there an issue with that?
Yeah, doing it all the time, I don't think it's the best thing for you.
Well, I don't eat seeds that often, anyways.
Yeah, I don't eat that seeds out that often. And Chris,
It
my shits
doesn't
come
matter.
out
Actually,
It doesn't
fine.
matter.
Okay.
Not
Now, when you
painful
eat
at
a
all.
chia seed, TJ, do you eat the whole chia seed or do you
Let me
peel them?
Let me see what a chia seed is. I don't know if I had one.
They are tiny. The whole point is you can't peel them.
Chia.
You've
Chia
never
pets.
seen chia seeds? I can go get a bag of chia seeds right now.
Yeah, TJ, I feel like you have seen
Chia
chia seeds.
I mean, I'm not
They're
gonna
like-
argue that all seeds, the casing on the outside needs to be not eaten.
No.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not saying all of them.
As
I'm saying that
sunflower
sunflower
seeds
seeds don't do that.
No, but
I'm
see,
fine with
it's,
chia
a,
seeds.
No.
it's more. I feel like more people would just eat the entire seed. Like growing up, I swear I never saw people do. I never understood that. Like what people are
Yeah.
spitting out in shows when they're eating sunflower seeds.
I'm looking up how do I eat sunflower seeds.
Okay, so
Nah.
you did also just very minor point. You did also acknowledge that you've seen people do that in media or in public. So it is something that a bulk of people do.
Yes, of
We
course.
can
but
establish that.
Yeah, I've also seen people take pisses on like animals in media in public. I know. I watched some
Yeah.
weird videos, but
Now, if I was a 15
That's,
year old and I was getting pissed off,
okay,
I'd know that
alright.
I'd move out the way.
I think we've all seen that picture of the bird with cum on it.
What?
TJ, you said
Yeah,
this to me.
regrettably, I have, but
I
why?
know what you're talking about.
Why bring this up?
I've never heard of it.
This is just
Bird with
this is just
Oh,
because
we need
just
to show
because
this?
Wait, have this saved on my computer somewhere?
I'm not looking this up. So if you want to send it, I'm not going to tell you to.
I feel like I've posted this with. TJ has definitely sent me this in the past at some point.
Crazy. I don't know who this TJ guy is. I've never heard of him.
Oh yeah, Skarmory has sent this to me.
But you have Zatu as your PFP.
No, he doesn't. He has Benson.
Now he has Benson. But that's
No,
no.
He's had Benson for a while now. Like I know what you mean.
My
That little green bird thing with a yellow beak.
Yeah, that was
That's
Skarmory.
Xatu.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
was
Skarmory.
That was Xatu, not Skarmory.
Clip it.
Actually, it was Natu for a bit too.
Was it not Pidgey?
No, although he did say Pidgey for a while, and it was not Pidgey.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, I know there's certain people in this household that do not agree with this, but I think the normal flying type combo, 2 thumbs down.
Yeah.
I think the normal type is ass. I think it's the most notable thing within Pokemon is that not many things resist it, except for the 3 things that do.
Also, what do we think about the flying type as a whole?
I think it's has some really cool, strong Pokemon in it, like what's it called again? Like the Landorus and things like that. But and Thundurus. But otherwise, it's not that.
No, I think its niche abilities that it has, offensively and defensively, pretty good. I think being immune to all ground type moves, any immunity on a type is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it works pretty well when it is coupled with something else, because like if you have like a steel type or at least like steel and electric, they're like one of the weaknesses, or with electric, its weakness is ground. And so if you have like I don't know, like
Thundurus and
Zapdos,
electric flying.
yeah,
Zapdos, yeah.
It's just done.
Zapdos is
like
the most notable example of that.
yeah, or similarly, Pokemon just levitate, like any of the Rotoms,
appliances.
yeah, and some steel, like Skarmory, or like what's it,
Corviknight.
Corviknight, yeah.
I think Skarmory is cooler than Corviknight.
I don't know. I think
I'm not talking about the actual like game stats or anything like that. I just think Skarmory looks cooler.
I know what you mean. I think they, I don't know, I think they stand shoulder to shoulder, or like a wing to wing, but they're, I can't really put one above the other.
Nah. So Chris,
Okay,
what's
so
your
Chris
favorite
doesn't know
Chris?
Pokemon.
Now, Chris, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Blastoise. By far, I don't give a damn. I do not. All I remember is like when I was really little. I never got into Pokemon, but all I remember is that dude just standing there like a tank, and then just looking at somebody and just gunning somebody down. It was beautiful.
So actually, has there really been another Pokemon that has blatant guns on it? Like very, very obvious, explicit firearms. There's Genesect, which is more like a laser.
I mean, like, what about Clawitzer?
Clawitzer? No, let me look that one up.
He's got like his hand.
Is that the pistol shrimp?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty recently. Genesect, I know Genesect is a result of like Team Rocket experimentation. Like that one might like get this excuse like, well, bad people did this, so it's okay to show a gun.
What if Ditto just turns into a gun?
Ditto can. Yeah, like.
Yeah.
So another
into an AR-15.
There's no better realization than the Pokemon movie when you realize that Ditto's been the chick the entire time.
Yes.
Huh?
But I think like one of the partners of the main character, the Pokemon movie, was a Ditto. Like at the end, it's revealed that she was a Ditto or something like that.
Let's see.
Maybe it wasn't that.
I know that happens in Detective Pikachu.
That's not Detective Pikachu.
Okay. But it's just not a woman. I think it's like
Is it the villain who like pretends? Yeah. He's like a distraction. Like, I got you, and he turns around, it's a Ditto.
Yeah, I think that was like a setup kind of thing to where like, oh yeah, the I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, it's basically that.
Did you guys watch Detective Pikachu?
Nope.
I mean, I don't watch that many movies, but still, come on.
Movies take too long.
So this is a very so this is a very interesting segue. I read on, maybe it was a Tumblr post, but it was a while back. A way to tell if a man is gay or straight is to ask him if Ryan Reynolds is attractive. Gay men will say he is not. Straight men will say he is.
I think you should have told us afterwards.
Yeah. you
that would have been a fun game.
By the way, she does turn into a woman.
I see.
I mean,
the only face of Ryan Reynolds I can imagine is when he's all burnt and fucked up as Deadpool. I can't imagine him as anyone else.
I can't imagine
him
more
as Mint Mobile. Isn't he like the face of Mint Mobile?
What is Mint Mobile?
He's
Yeah, what?
affiliated with it.
Yeah, but he's like their marketing. Like I swear they spend money
Okay,
on
but what is
nothing.
Mint Mobile?
It's like Cricket wireless. Like it's
Oh,
like,
Okay,
okay.
it's a phone carrier.
yeah,
Yes.
I thought it was a type of gum, to be honest.
it's supposed to be like a value.
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like a
carrier.
gum.
Yeah, so they gotten kind of hot water-ish recently. So they merged with I think T-Mobile, maybe it was AT&T, and so it's like their promise of just being very cheap and very budget-friendly. It isn't out the window, but it's more like just being called into question because they were acquired by a conglomerate.
Chris,
But yeah,
I'm looking at some of these like images of it on I just looked up Mint Mobile on Google. Not only is like one of the top videos is Ryan Reynolds explains the sale of Mint Mobile to T-Mobile. Explains the sale of Ryan Reynolds. I don't know why he does that. All the like the little like prepaid cards, they have like a picture of this like little green dude wearing the same glasses Ryan Reynolds is wearing.
Hold on.
Well, I need to see this.
Like, wait, hold on. This is.
You just go to images.
You can just go to images.
Yeah, that's like the fox. Yeah, that's like their mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Although I thought the mascot was white, I didn't realize he was a mint color. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it makes sense.
Hot take: I don't think Ryan Reynolds is funny. Honestly, that funny.
There's a lot of celebrities that just are mid when it comes to funny.
I mean, like, I don't even like the. I don't like the character he plays in movies. Like, Deadpool is probably
that
his
his persona?
Best.
Oh
Could be.
no, not like this.
I think
Look at it. It's a little fox. It's his persona.
I think Deadpool is his best, like, attempt at that style of character, and even then, I don't think it was that good. I think it was okay.
Yeah.
Like the first movie's fine. I think the first one's better than the second one. But like,
I didn't watch any of them, so I wouldn't.
really?
I have watched so little when it comes to anything in the superhero genre. I've watched like no Marvel movie other than like Captain America from like 2016 or something.
But you watched Joker, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was just because I heard about the Joaquin Noah movie. Joker was supposed to be good.
Joaquin Phoenix, you mean?
Yeah,
Joaquin Noah.
Joaquin
That's a
Noah.
completely different person.
Who?
I don't know if he's real, but that's a completely
What did
different
he
person.
say?
Oh, look at Joaquin Noah. That's a basketball player.
Okay.
Okay. So it is from somewhere. It's not just you made it up.
No, that's a
God damn.
former Bulls. I think he's a center. But anyways,
Bulls?
Yeah.
Wait, what team has the Bulls?
Chicago.
His name is spelled
Chicago
almost like
Bulls.
Jakim, huh?
But
This is a new Joker right here.
as far as Hollywood's gonna get anytime soon for a big budget movie, I think it's as good as like
Chris, do you know
superhero
they're
movie's gonna
making
get.
a second one?
Joker.
Yeah, they're making Joker 2. It's gonna have Harley Quinn played by Lady Gaga, and it's supposed to be a musical.
I saw something where it was they were filming the movie of it, or like they're filming a scene when they're at like a courthouse, and you have some like I don't know if it's supposed to be some protester screaming at her, and she goes, "Looks like you're going to hell too," grabs her face and kisses her, and then continues walking up the steps. That was like something on
Based?
Reddit that I saw, and it was like people, and it was like people in the comments going, "Wait, that's just sexual assault," and then like they're going through it, and then some message like 20 messages down and goes, "I wonder how many people don't realize that this is on the set of a movie." Like this is
Oh, wow.
That's funny.
like, huh? Okay.
Wait, are we going to watch this trailer?
I don't think I can show the trailer with Warner Bros. I'm gonna get hit by a copyright.
You don't think you could do it with no audio?
Yeah, but I want to listen to
I
it.
don't know. I wouldn't
Warner
think
Bros. Hit me for
Okay,
having
yeah.
something in like one of my like
Jorge,
YouTube
one of
shorts
those,
I made.
yeah, one of those football videos that are unlisted, by the way, is take a certain segment is muted in general, and it's taken down in Russia because you are playing some kind of music in the background.
Which is stupid because it's all like indie music.
Yeah.
Apparently not indie enough, Jorge. I need you to go more obscure next time you're showing me this kind of music.
Or
Yeah, they can't-
making his
listen.
own music.
They're not.
No.
There
then
can't be
someone
a
else will
single
claim it.
word in
Just
their
watch.
name.
Have a what now in their name?
Like it has to be so obscure. Their name isn't comprised of words. It's just symbols and just junk. It's gonna be that obscure.
Alright, I want the name of this person to be question marks when you play them on your car stereo.
They half of them are.
But yeah, and superhero movies are so
Boring.
they're boring now.
Well, that's because they've been done to death.
I mean, you can watch even like the best of them now are boring.
Because they've been done to death. It's like Led Zeppelin and how it's boring because it started the metal genre, right? To an extent. But now that everything they've done has been done to death. So if you go back and listen to them, a lot of their songs are just gonna be like,
Nah,
okay, I've
well,
heard this before.
yeah, but I feel like that's a unique issue. I think Seinfeld is still entertaining to watch that, and supposedly Seinfeld suffers from the Seinfeld effect. Like it was so good that every other sitcom copied it. Like going back to it, like it looks unremarkable.
Maybe.
That's also just the progression of things too, because like Led Zeppelin may be groundbreaking, but there might be metal bands that had come after them that are just straight up better than them on the music that they put out. And so when you go back and listen to it, you're like, you really don't have an appreciation for how groundbreaking it is because you're like, I've heard better, or I would have. Now we're also listening through, and I was watching a video explaining the difference between music that you hear online versus on a record. And so you have a lot of music from that time period was specifically mixed and mastered for the media in which you were going to listen to it on, and they were going to
Like
listen
a
to it on
vinyl.
records. Yeah, so they're listening to it on vinyl. So you have things made to be listened to on vinyl. Now you're listening to it online. It just doesn't. It doesn't come across the same, and I thought that was kind of interesting too to think about.
See, and that's only a problem if you what's it called again? If it doesn't get re-released, right? Because then you'll notice things like compression. You'll notice the crackling and the popping in the recordings, and you'll notice how like a lot of older songs have terrible like mixing because they'll be compensating for speakers having terrible dynamics. Like they'll try to like compensate for like you're not going to hear the bass and you're not going to hear the high end anyways. I'm just going to make sure you hear the mid. The mid is the important part, like that kind of thing. And that's how you get Metallica songs that have no bass, absolutely none at all, until you get them remastered for a more modern video music player.
I mean, I love when you're watching old songs that have like an isolated bass track and it's just do 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 do. That's the only bass. Like that's just a bass track. Like there's no complexity put into it at all.
There's also something I wanted to say because you asked about protein earlier. If you guys are fine going back to that,
yes,
let's go back to it. Yeah,
let's go macro talk, I guess. Fuck macro talk.
And it was so when looking at protein the other day. So I was looking at just buying things and looking at macros, looking at calories. I think is something because this is its own probably discussion point where I've seen things online, people talking about it's not healthy to obsess over the types of food you're eating, looking into calorie count, all that kind of stuff. And I thought that was a bad way of framing it, where I think you can get obsessive compulsive. You can look and you start like one thing that was said was there is no bad food, and it was some university came out and it was a dean of something said like, yeah, it was, and I don't know, it was something that came out from a university, from a faculty member of university saying that calling foods bad is incorrect. There are no bad foods, and with the caveat being as long as it's not poisonous, it's not a bad food. It's just how you're consuming it and what you're doing with it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Kind of balances
but
out,
it's
yeah.
like, it.
I can see that point.
Yeah, it's like bison meat on a macro level. Your micronutrients, fantastic. Way more expensive than ground beef. Way more expensive and more expensive than steak. But, solid. But if you only eat bison meat, unless you have an autoimmune disease that you're allergic to everything else, you're just kind of screwing yourself. Yeah, it's generally seen as not good having a balanced diet. And when you asked about protein, it kind of got me thinking about. I read the back of a beef jerky packet, and I have it right here, where it says, so
enlighten us.
Has 11 grams of protein, right, per serving, and the serving size is 1 container. Or holy crap, there's 10 servings per container in this. Holy crap, I didn't realize that. So
you just ate 10 servings.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Keep going.
So I'll eat. Generally, I get beef jerky, and that's just because later at night I get hungry. And if I can eat something that's lower in calories and something I have to like chew on, and it's meat, it feels like it satisfies me way more than me going and eating a bowl of cereal. Because if I eat a bowl of Fruity Pebbles, I'm crushing out
calories. More.
Yeah, it's so good. But the interesting thing was it being 11 grams per serving. It's like, okay, at 90 calories, that's really good. Per 10 calories, you're getting like 1.2 grams of protein. That's not bad. The thing that
Not
was
bad at all.
interesting was it considering your daily values, and you're looking at, what you should be consuming. It says it's 22% of your daily value is in those 11 grams. So that's basically 50 grams of protein a day is what it says on an average 2,000 calorie diet you should be getting in. And so I started looking into that about where these numbers are based on. And I don't know if it's the CDC that states it.
Another Department of Health?
Maybe it's it's the Department of Health, but they get their data from other places. I want to say it was the CDC because it broke down to its own study about malnutrition worldwide, and under consuming protein for different like countries, and I think it even got into like continents.
It's the FDA.
Well, they're going to be the ones that, allow you to sell this food. So
yeah, there's a paper here.
Isn't it the FDA like?
It's the daily value and percent daily value changes on the new nutrition and supplement fact labels. Mm-hmm. See if I can find a date on this. This is from 2020. So they are the ones that say you have to have the labels on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the labels have to have that daily value.
That's just government touching into our foods.
Things. Huh? Yeah.
It's just government overreaching our foods. I love how those bottles that you get from Mexico Coca-Cola, they have that smacked on sticker. That was like the daily value.
It has that sticker that says this is excessive calories and sugar.
But the thing that I wanted to say about that being, roughly 50 grams of protein being your daily value on average for a 2,000 calorie diet. And that's for moderate movement, So, and that's something I was kind of thinking about with different human beings. Every human being's different on the types of foods they can eat, the amounts of foods. I think generally your healthy point, you're within a certain band, say on calories, for example. You can eat within a certain band of calories and it'll probably be a healthy way of doing things. And different people have different bands. And that can even just be down to biologically. Certain people metabolize food faster. Their internal body heat is 1 or half a degree higher. So they burn an extra 100 calories throughout a day. Could be that. Could also be your ghrelin receptors telling you how hungry you are all the time, which you can actually affect those. There was some study that said the more processed foods you eat. And it had another caveat on that about it agonizing your ghrelin receptors differently.
Okay, I was about to say there's a lot of studies right now that are coming out about ghrelin and leptin because those are that's like your hunger and your fullness hormones that I think are misleading, not because of the studies but because of the way media picks it up.
Yes.
Because like ghrelin and leptin, that's like forefront of nutrition science right now. And a lot of studies will say, oh yeah, you can influence your ghrelin receptors by blah, 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 right? And then once you go into the study, you start to read, oh, it's in mice. Like they were doing this in mice. And the way that they were introducing these food was like into what's it called again? Intestinal injection. Not even like the mice eating it.
Yeah.
Right? Versus, a more pertinent study that could be done on humans that you can actually take value from and base more decisions on. Not that I don't think there's value in that study, right? But then a media is just going to pick it up and say, yeah, if you eat this miracle food, it'll actually influence your ghrelin, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Or it'll influence your leptin so you feel full for longer.
It's and that's also a byproduct of, not to like derail the conversation into the media just picking up shit that, because they also have to sell, right? Like
they're interested in making money.
Yeah, and so they have to send whatever they need to sell and send to make money. As long as they do it within their parameter, don't get sued for defamation, they'll send it.
Which if you go to that link that I sent, it actually at the very bottom it'll show tables where it shows all the daily values and how they changed for the year 2020 and how they were updated. And like an interesting one is choline got added as a new daily value. You know what choline is?
No.
That's like in the nootropic stuff or the nootropic stuff.
Oh, really?
Like it's one of those really big ones that I remember. I remember hearing more plates, more dates talk about it.
Is that a
really
world
new.
in Pop Tropica? Nootropics?
Yeah, right. No, the way the word is spelled too makes you think this is pseudoscience.
Where's it?
Like,
this hasn't been tested
fake.
yet because it hasn't been tested that well yet. Because supplements aren't regulated, which is kind of dumb. But like a lot of them are like it's nootropics, nootropic, which is like.
Where do you see this on this thing you sent it? Like what page?
It's not on this. It's not this. But if you go all the way to the bottom, it shows like all the tables, and it'll show the original daily values and what the new ones are and things like that. And just at the very bottom, it has choline or like choline, right? And that's where I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's a nootropic thing. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
No, I could be misremembering the name too, so take it with a grain of salt. But
Nice chilling
No,
right
and
here. You're right.
that's what I was saying with like the nutrition facts being on the back. Is that
Yeah.
I heard that they were going to be updated. I didn't know what they were going to add because I heard there was something about things changing, and because anytime anything changes, an industry is going to sue the government for it. But I heard something like that was going on, but I don't know for sure.
Generally speaking, I'm looking at the some of
It
these.
says right here, like it's anything that's increasing. So like calcium is increasing, your daily value of and like specific things is going to go down, not because there's less calcium, but because there's.
Let's see. So overall, it looks like most things are just going down. On the like the chloride, chromium, like all these different metals, basically.
Oh, you're going for like the
I'm at page 5, yeah, where it's like everything went down by quite a bit.
Except sodium. Sodium went by 100.
Yeah, but that's a hard one to take away from people.
Yeah, it is.
And almost everything else went up. Yeah. Chris, I'm doing one of the most painful things a man can do as a part of my like weight loss plan, and that is I've been running.
Well, running can be annoying. It's just if it's something you enjoy doing.
I mean, I think it's
Send
fine. I think I get enough of a runner's high while I'm running to like balance it out. It's just that at the same time, I also feel like I'm about to have a heart attack half the time. Where it's like, oh god, we walk for a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been jogging around. Somehow the roads around our house, the square I pick is perfectly like 1 mile. Like from our driveway, like running around the roads is 1 mile. Like I've been using Google Fit to keep track of it.
Yeah.
It's like okay, I've run 3 mile. I don't run like 3 miles consecutively. I run 1 mile. I'll come inside, get some water, sit down for a sec, and I'll go back outside. Run the next mile, come back inside, get some water. That's it. I think about 30 minutes just to do the running part, and probably like 15 minutes of resting in between them.
Yeah.
I mean, the goal is to get down to being able to run those 3 miles without a break. First goal.
I think that's also the better way to run. If you have like a neighborhood or something outside and you're tracking with like a Fitbit or some kind of way to track your distance, that's better than a treadmill and doing time. Or
treadmills are weird. Like
Yeah.
I think treadmills.
I think they
hurt my
mess with
knees
you.
more. Yeah, I'm pretty sure on treadmills, like at the gym I go to, it alters the way in which I run. So I think my left knee, I compensate, and I'm doing something different, and my left knee hurts because of it.
Yeah, I can look at my my Google Fit. It even shows stuff like elevation, and it has like the little waves. But like this is your pace that you were going at. It's like this is when I can tell when I'm running, walking, running, walking, running, walking, running, walking.
Mhm.
Now I don't know what it says. My average pace was. No, this makes sense. It's about 10 minutes per mile. Yeah, that's way better than I thought it was. I thought it said 10 miles average. Is that I don't know what that means. I don't think I was running 10 miles per hour.
Mhm.
But no, that's just like your elevation changes. I think running outside is nice because
Especially right now, it feels nice outside.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I think being able like you can't just hit stop to end your workout. Like I'm across the neighborhood right now. I need to make it back to my house somehow. I'm either gonna walk there or run there.
I
Yeah,
also
and
think that's- Go ahead.
oh yeah, I think that's like a general like why going to the gym is like more motivating than like doing a home workout, like doing crunches or like doing something with dumbbells. It's just it's where you're at. You know, you're like there's more incentive to it. You know, like if you go if you go over your way to put yourself in a scenario where you can't really do anything else, then you're gonna do what you're there for.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think the only things that stop people a lot of times from going to gyms is the social anxiety or
Yeah.
like
The
the
shame.
self-consciousness.
Yes,
Yeah,
self consciousness.
there's
and
also
the
a
shame.
shame of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to
Like,
look fat in front of people.
Yeah, or like if you go to like do a bench press and it's like, oh man, I don't want to ask somebody to stop me. Oh man, how do I talk to people? Is this going to be
Yeah,
anything
it's just
stupid?
talking to people is anxious or some things that can be difficult for people.
Yeah, or like if you're gonna do like I don't know fucking Bulgarian split squats or something like that. It's like, oh man, what if I'm doing the form wrong? Oh man.
That guy over there's gonna make fun
I
of me.
look like an idiot. Oh
yeah,
my god.
and so it can be hard to try new things and stuff like that.
That's 100%. Because I mean, I even feel that way like going back to the gym now. Because I've definitely gained probably 10 to 15 pounds from what I was like when I was going to the gym consistently.
What is this gap?
I've lost a lot of like strength too, and so I'm on bench press doing like 3 sets of 8 of whatever the weight I'm doing, and just going. I used to be able to do 3 sets of 8 with like 40 pounds heavier than this, easier than what I'm doing this right now.
How long was your
It
gap?
can be demotivating.
It's not demotivating as of right now.
Oh, okay.
I just think that it's not necessarily that I'm demotivated to go now because my numbers are lower. It's just before when you see your numbers climbing, you're in such a motivated state to continue going. So in comparison, I had a lower motivation, but like when you see your numbers and when you're in your first year of lifting and you're interested in just getting stronger, or you're just interested in progressing in whatever your metric is, generally you will, and you'll progress at like a rate that people who've been doing it for a long time can't, and that's just the diminished rate of returns. And it is, especially with you like running, Alejandro, if you actually try to push yourself to do better, I think you will be impressed with how fast you should be able to run 3 miles consecutively. Like in my
And Chris,
first,
the end goal is takes me like 4 or 5 minutes to run a mile.
that's going to be a really. I'm not
Hard
saying that's
end goal.
impossible. If you can do a sub 5 minute mile at your height, at our height, right?
Cut the tape. Cut the tape.
I ran cross country in high school and in middle school. Played tennis in high school and middle school. Very active. I weighed 135 pounds back then. My fastest mile I ever recorded was like 5 minutes 35 seconds, and that was me scooting. Like I felt like I was moving, right?
Yeah.
And not to say like if you can do that's a crazy fantastic goal for you to set. It's just the pace in which you have to run. That's going to be a tough thing to get to, but I think you'll be impressed with how fast you will head towards that goal. Like
I mean,
truly,
Chris,
you will be impressed.
I already felt less dead yesterday when I ran versus Tuesday.
And that's like me going to the gym saying like bench press. You will be surprised that in your first whatever segment of time, you will have noticeable improvement every time you go. Like it'll literally be noticeable. And if you don't notice it this time, if you were to write down your numbers, which is what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to get a scale and I'm going to weigh myself every day to get a running average of what it looks like long term.
Every day?
Yeah, so it'd be every morning.
Like you just weigh yourself every morning and then you kind of like put all those dots on a graph and you just find like the line. Okay, like
I was
are
going to say,
going
as a
down.
strategy, I found it more useful to do it like every 3 days.
I do it every 2 days.
And my thing is, my issue is I'd rather do it every day because when I would go to the gym and do it every Friday, I would notice plus 1 pound, minus 1 pound, and it'd be very discouraging for me. Even though, say, by the time I made it to the gym, maybe I ate lunch before I went to the gym this Friday rather than last Friday. I haven't taken a massive dump between, or I've drank more water. So it's like, for me,
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, even if you do it every single day, you're gonna notice like between like day 1 and day 2, it's only gonna be like 4 pounds, right? And you'll lose the 4 pounds, quote unquote, and then the next day you'll be back up 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. And then the next day you might even be up 6 pounds from that first day, and that fourth day you're back down to like 3 pounds like above, and then you're back down to like 2 below. Like
I don't think it's gonna vary that much, but yeah, it should be varying.
I say this from experience.
You'd be surprised.
Because when I was fasting, like at the start of my fast, I'd be at least 8 pounds like heavier than I was after like 24 hours of fasting.
If you're gonna clear out all that food, you're probably getting rid of a lot of salt.
Or closer to like 36 hours, right? And like the few times that I went over 50, like you lose like easily, like you see the number drop down like 15 pounds, right? But once you like start eating and like drinking again, it hasn't been 15 pounds that you consumed in those 50 hours.
I don't know about
like
you.
3 pounds, 4 pounds.
I don't know what your macro, like your log says about how many calories you've been taking, like your daily log, your weekly average, whatever. Man, am I getting hungry?
Well, mine is set me at 1600.
Mine's at 1500. Like last night, I was hungry when I went to bed.
What did you guys? So, how are you guys going about it? How many calories did you guys try to consume a day?
1580. Hori suggested us to get an app called Macro. It's
Macro Factor.
First week is free. You pay for it after that.
I've heard there's a couple like decent ones, like MyFitnessPal and Chronometer that do.
See,
And now,
okay,
in
those are
addition to
both of
what
the
you're trying
ones that I
to do-
was gonna use, Chris.
Mhm.
Looking at recent reviews of them, MyFitnessPal costs $20 a month, and it also removed a lot of the free features that make it like usable, like worth it. Like they don't show you like macros anymore in the free version. They'll show you calories, and it won't give you goals, and it won't give you like an algorithm to like adjust it based on your goals.
Now, the one I
And
was using was Chronometer, and it only show you macros. It wouldn't show you your micros, and you'd just be able to scan
Hey
your
Chris,
like
I'll post you a
supplements you're
screenshot of
taking.
like a trend line that this thing has for me.
Mhm.
Like this is one of the summary pages, like of my first week of doing this.
Mhm.
yeah, you can see Saturday we had a party at my
Yeah, we had a
parents'
party.
house.
Like the first day I decided to do it, we had a party. Yeah. To be fair, I wanna slave away and drop so much more weight. I don't care. I do. I don't care if I'm consuming less than 1,500 calories a day, as long as I drop some weight by like 2 months. I don't.
I promise you it's not consistent.
Nah. All I need to do is look nicer for a little bit.
And then let me post this right here.
It also has like the proteins, fat, and carbs breakdown. As you can tell, I eat way more carbs than anything else. I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah, which like if you look at the one that I posted, right, because like the time that I set and like I wanted to be losing like 2 point something pounds or 1.9 pounds a week, right? That's what I set on it. It immediately put me on like a strict keto. And it's like, okay, if you want to hit this goal, by next year or whatever, right? Like you need to be on like strict keto at this many calories to do it like at a reasonable pace. So like the green is all the carbs. It is so hard to find like keto friendly foods that aren't just like soul crushing. Carbs are so delicious. Yeah, they really are.
This Jorge's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, I think they should.
It might not be healthy for the vast majority of individuals. The only type of person where like eating, say, Lucky Charms or like Fruity Pebbles, I would say would be like a healthy option, is somebody who does like endurance sports because they need
Yeah.
carbs. They need that sugar because they're burning so much. It's like, okay, yeah, they could probably eat it and they're completely fine, but like past that individual who's doing extreme endurance sports, Lucky Charms isn't healthy. Like, nah, there's no way. But you also have to build a diet that's like conducive to the lifestyle you want to live
Yeah.
and your goals. So it's like if you're just interested in losing weight from here to then, and you're not worried about like performance metrics, say athletic performance metrics, then cutting out
Yeah.
carbs is a good way to cut calories because there's a lot of just empty calories and carbs and a lot of foods that like don't fill you
They're
up.
calorie dense.
Yeah,
Like
the
more than
calorie
anything, they're super calorie dense. Like fried foods, breaded fried foods.
they
You
add
could
so
easily eat
much.
700 calories of like chicken tenders,
Mhm.
which is like
2 tenders.
not even like a really big plate of just chicken breast with like rice cauliflower.
Yes.
You
Right.
can see on mine, what's it called, the days I work. I think like 1,000 of the 1,500 or 1,600, which is I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 1,000 of those calories was at work,
Yes.
eating like the one of the 3-piece meals I eat or something like that,
And that's
Yeah.
something you have to keep in mind too.
and the
is
sauce.
I think generally,
Sauce is true, a big one.
if you had to look at like protein, fat, carbs, I think protein's like the least, and this is something I have to look up per gram of protein. I think there's less like calories in a gram of protein than it is carbs, and
There
carbs
has
less
to be,
than
dude.
fats. Right?
I've been
in
eating tuna fish.
Yeah.
No, go
I've
ahead.
been eating tuna fish. That thing sits for a while in my stomach.
And tuna's good, and that's something I've been part of me like trying to be a little bit more healthy just in general is getting a mix of meats in. And tuna is one of those things that I want to get in. And tuna, I can buy tuna packets that are like different flavored tuna packets. They're like $1, and I can just stow
told
those at
about
work.
that.
Yeah, and you can just stow them at work, like, and they have a shelf life of like years, like actually like 2025 or something.
We're talking about the
the ones
bags
that are
or
in
the
liquid,
cans?
right?
Yeah, it's like Star-Kissed packets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
bags.
I've done Starkist before, like in like school lunch stuff. I've been meaning to do it more, but like some of their flavors too are not bad. There's one that
I didn't
is
even know they had flavors.
there's this one flavor that I've called like Chipotle something, and
Yeah, is it
it
good?
is malding because I had it I had it once. I've not been able to
Yeah.
find it since. Every goddamn Walmart, Publix, Aldi I've been to has not fucking had it, and it's fucking annoying because it tastes good, and like like I know like sauces and like if you add more flavor, it can just kind of add more empty bullshit into it. But it's like it's good. You know what I mean? So it's like it's like but I've had their lemon pepper stuff pretty often. It's pretty good. I think it's best to mix with something. But it's pretty good. I definitely I recommend
I
those.
play the most dangerous game in which I've been mixing mayo and tuna together.
I do that as well. I know like
Mayo is so dense in calories.
It's
it
a lot of
definitely
stuff.
is.
But it tastes
From
good.
a macro perspective, I don't think mayo is that bad actually. In a sense that it's just fat and protein. That's all it is.
Yeah.
There's like no carbs in mayo.
And that's the thing you have to look at is like, what are you?
I don't know anything about macros and stuff like that.
Okay, so
all I want to do is see the calorie boundary go
on the
down.
same like term. When we using the term macros, are we calling like calories, proteins, fats, and carbs as macros? Your big
okay.
things.
So like what I'm kind of saying, like when I say macro, is the breakdown of the like the key like components of the food, right? So like a chicken thigh, right? A bone-in chicken thigh has like 40/40 protein and fat, and the rest 10 is just other things, like other things that don't fit into those two categories, is what I've noticed.
So you're saying the breakdown between protein, fat, carbs?
Yeah.
Is macro? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense. Okay, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. We use the word macro because you have like macros and micros. Macros being your micronutrients, like
Your
whatever that
calcium,
new one
your magnesium,
with
that choline that we were talking. Yeah.
But you also have to like find a diet that fuels what it is, because food is fuel for you to live. So it's like you do have to cater your food that you're intaking to the stuff you're going to be doing. Like
Yes.
if you're going to be doing a lot of endurance stuff, for example, like running, like Alejandro's doing, you need to do something that is going to be conducive to your body recovering from running and also performing in running if you're interested in performing at a high level or improving substantially. So you'd have to like cater your dietary needs to that, because those are your dietary needs. So it's like having like proteins and like using mayo, having those fats in there might not necessarily be a bad thing. Calorie wise, it can be tough because to get a good amount of mayo on something to where it's satiating, it's nice to eat, is like 400, 500, 600 calories. Like it's insane how calorie dense mayo is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sucks that.
And I feel like you can replace mayo with something like, this is gonna sound crazy, right? Well, like a light sour cream, and it'll have largely the same effect.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be not as many calories, like nowhere near as many calories, and like a similar amount of fat.
Mm-hmm. It's just also like and I don't know if it's the American issue, but it's probably just human beings being able to create things that are like nice. Like the amount of fast food places that I have like up here, and we go out to eat like basically every other day at the office.
Oh, at the office.
So it's like people like to go different places and like eat different things, but it'd be like Five Guys or go out to like, different places like that. And it's like the amount of what you're eating at that place is something I think you should eat once a week, maybe twice a week. Like, and what I mean by once or twice a week, I mean a single meal out of the week or like 2 meals out of the week. For what you're getting there for the calorie contents and the micronutrients just aren't there. You need like other things for your body to be healthy. So it's then you like, how many meals a week is the average American eating at like a fast food chain, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, stuff like that?
Yeah.
What percentage?
Like that's where like you have to like
that's
tempting.
It's really tempting
right there.
And that's where like you have to look at like how it also makes you feel. like what you were saying, like you want to, it's feel. You need to use feel for what you're doing, right? Where like eating fast food and eating out may be convenient and easy. If you're constantly just eating fast food, you're just gonna feel like shit all the time.
You do.
It's just non-satisfying, like long-term food, you know?
And
I mean,
there's
I just
also
think
been studies that like get into that of like why it isn't and how food. And I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if the study got deep enough into understanding. So in their like thing was if you eat stuff like McDonald's, Wendy's, you're gonna be hungry. You're gonna be hungrier sooner than what you would have been if you ate other types of foods. So they're getting into
Mhm.
that and like how does that interact with your body? And that was like their ghrelin, your leptin. How does different types of foods affect that kind of thing? And so
Yeah,
when you eat at McDonald's, you may have overconsumed if you would have, eaten something else. Maybe you ate an extra 300 calories while going to McDonald's.
yeah,
But if you're also hungry 1 hour before you were if you ate something else, not only are you over calories, but you're also hungrier now. So you have to eat again, or your willpower to just say no to not eating, you know, has to come in an hour earlier. And you're like,
yeah.
now it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you're like, I wanna eat a pizza.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking
You're like, oh, I
that
want another
going back
one
to
of
that
those good
willpower
foods.
thing. You just gotta pull out that willpower. Nope. I want to reach that end goal. I want to reach that finish line. This is not helping me reach a finish line.
Which,
And
yeah, for some people that may be easier than for other people.
That's my
Like,
end
honest to
goal.
God.
Like, nah, I think I've mentioned like since high school, I've been the same height. Maybe I've grown like a quarter of an inch at most, and
you're
I've probably
roughly the same.
gained 30 or 40 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in freshman in high school, I was roughly the same height at 135 pounds.
Yeah, I used to weigh like 140, and now I weigh like
Yeah.
170.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it's
And
also
I also sit down a lot more nowadays.
Mhm.
Stuff like that.
Well, and you have and you said like your willpower to like go towards your end goal.
Yeah.
That's my thing is I don't have an end goal that I'm reaching for, and it's tough for me to have an end goal like lose weight. That's not a thing that matters to me because in the immediate, I just don't care. Like I want to get better at
Yeah.
say World of Tanks or Valorant, like whatever it is. It's just like honestly, I'd rather care about that now than I would anything else. What helps for me is like chasing not a fat loss goal, but I want to have a bench press goal. I want to have a bench press versus my weight goal. I want to be able to have I want to
Yeah,
be this
that's its own thing.
powerful on these lifts. And so it's like for me with running in cross country, it was never like I was just interested in I want to run faster. I want to have this time on this 5K. This is what I'm interested in. So I would train for that. And the weight loss is going to come because you're working your ass off. But that's my thing. I can't chase the weight loss cuz I can be fat and happy at least in the
See,
immediate. But
and
like
I was gonna say, like, I think that what ties into that, right, is that there's a distinction between the goal I want to lose weight and I want to lift this many pounds, right? And a part of that distinction is that losing weight is like a what's it called again? It's supposed to be a positive thing,
Mhm.
right? Like it has positive connotation that, oh yeah, this person wants to lose weight, they want to improve the way they look, blah 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 blah, or they're expecting this and that, or right now they feel bad, right now they don't feel comfortable. Whereas if you say, I want to bench press 200 pounds, that's not a positive or negative thing. It's just a thing. It's just a goal, right?
Yeah.
And instead, you can reframe to like, in this moment right now, I'm just going to do my best, right? Push as hard as I can so that I can hit that goal,
Mhm.
right? Not because it's a good or a bad thing, but because that's what you want to do.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's just a good little a present thinking versus future thinking that I think like can help people set better goals, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's my thing. I need like things to work towards, not to derail us into World of Tanks. But
Yeah.
Aw,
my thing
no.
is, I don't really care about like what I care about is like at this point is marking tanks because I know marking tanks only makes me better at the game. So it's like I want to
Yeah.
have a 4,500 like recent win rate. That's what I want. But like,
Mm-hmm.
or I want like my PR to be something. But like that comes if I get better at the game. How do I get better at the game? By not just obsessing over being better at the game. Is set a goal. The goal is marking a
Mark
tank.
tanks.
Not
Yeah.
not win eight. Win eight comes when you mark tanks, but having that is like the exact same thing to me as like I want to be able to squat 355 or something like that. Like
Yeah.
that's a goal. Those types of goals I can go for. The other stuff where it's like I just want to be a better person today than I was yesterday. Hell no.
That's not a realistic
That doesn't
goal.
work.
Like, yeah.
Maybe it
And
works
again,
for
like
some.
that's such a
It's
future-sighted
hard.
goal, right?
It's one of those goals. Like the next day, it's hard. You can look back and be like, "Well, it's probably better." Like it's hard to say like how much better were they actually.
Yeah, with like the post-thought rationalization.
Like what did they actually improve here? Not much, probably. All right, let's take a quick break. Yeah,
That'll work.
let's do some
Yeah,
piss
I
break
need to make
breaks.
some food.
Pause.
Also need to nod.
And we're back. So now that we're all back, we got a little bit more water in us. We all took a nice little piss break in between. I have a paper for us.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Alhajru has written a. You know what? I'm not going to say a damn thing. I'm going to let it speak entirely for itself.
Do we know what the assignment was for this?
Damn.
I don't know. I think the assignment might have been like, "What are your experiences from third grade?" Like I said, he got it from another teacher, like a literature teacher. Into this, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, look at what my student wrote." They did not get a passing grade. I think apparently they got a 60 on the spell check, and you guys can't see the spelling. He misspelled
It is awful.
so many words.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the
it's
spelling is
terrible.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is absurdly bad. Like, some of the things I said were abbreviations of what they're trying to say. Like, when I said on God, it was just ONG.
Yeah. Okay. The way you were talking, I was like, just grammatically how they structured their sentence. When they said it is not giving, you said at some point
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
I was like, oh no. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
he
Why
wrote
are they-
purely like he was talking.
Yes.
It's insane.
He might
Yeah.
have used the like text to speech app on his phone to write this paper. It's only 3 paragraphs.
I have done that before, so that actually would make sense. That,
You've done that?
yeah, I had like a forensics class in high school that we had to do like weekly reports on stuff. Nobody in the class did it but me. I was the only guy in that class doing at like a class of like 20 people doing the weekly assignments to like pick a case and talk about it and relate it to how we did stuff like what we learned in the past week of class.
Yeah.
Now there were people in that class who literally one guy got made fun of because he couldn't read. We were doing popcorn reading and a kid goes like, "All right, I pick whoever to read." And the guy looked up. He just like shit, and he's like sitting down. Okay, it's like he's a senior. He's a senior. He has like a silver chain on, like a polo shirt. He's just kind of chilling in the seat, kind of like slunched down into it. And this is like a average, like a basic on level forensics class. It's not AP, not honors, just basic forensics class.
Yeah, God
so we're
forbid an
popcorn
AP
reading.
student couldn't read.
Well, and we're popcorn. So they just like point at him, and he just like looks down. He just shakes his head. He goes, "I ain't reading." And they go, Nah, bro. I picked you. You gonna read the thing?" And then another guy, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna read." And then another guy just pipes up. One of the shortest, smallest human beings I've ever seen in high school just pipes up and goes, "He's not gonna read. That's because that motherfucker can't read."
Oh my
Oh
god.
no!
Whole class lost it. But the way
It's not funny that he can't read. It's funny that one kid just piped up and said, "It's because that motherfucker can't read." Like that. That's more funny than he
Too
can't
bad.
read.
I'm also imagining him doing like how we joke about when we can't read. Like, I'm illiterate. I can't read.
Yeah, like that's what I imagine he said.
No, but then this guy actually like you could tell he just hasn't learned to read. So but that's the type of person I'm imagining wrote this paper is somebody like him who doesn't have a great command of the English language to like read or write. And so they just text to speech and just told them exactly how they feel is exactly how it went on that piece of paper, and this is how it was turned in.
Dude,
I can see
nah,
that.
Chris. At the very end where it says "thank you for reading," it has a smiley face, semicolon, and like parentheses. So this is someone clearly typed this out because you cannot do that at text speech.
I love it.
To be clear, he meant colon. It's not a winky face. It is a smiley face.
Oh, sorry. Colons are all the same.
Not mine. I got hemorrhoids down to my knees.
Damn.
I'm
Nah,
joking.
dude. This paper.
Right, if it's anywhere past your cheeks, it's a prolapse. It's no longer a hemorrhoid, brother. It's a prolapse.
It's past tube stock. It's into stocking territory.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Nah, dude. Something like I like to imagine myself in like the seat of a teacher who's like looking at this for the first time. Of what the fuck did this student just submit to me?
Yeah.
Like, what is running through this like? I'm gonna say high schoolers. I'm gonna say sophomore too. What is running through his mind where he's like, "That's the paper I want to submit. That right there is like what I need."
I promise you, they weren't thinking. They just said, "Man, I got to do this stupid paper. Let me just fucking do this," and that's it. There was no thought of, "Yeah, I'll get a good grade on this."
No, but like
Or yeah,
not even that.
it was
Like,
probably more a closer thought of like,
Jorge.
"Man, that bitch said I was gonna get expelled if I didn't write this fucking paper."
or there's like this last paragraph where he's like, if I could find her address, I would mess her up." It's like that is threatening. Who would agree that
Yes.
you are
And I
turning
promise
it
you, they didn't
into
think about it. They just wrote that
Yeah.
or said it. Like they didn't think.
No, I will say like I hope she's dead or something like that, or like I swear it said something about car accident the first time I read this.
Said
I guess it wasn't there.
I swear, I hope she a homeless, blah, blah, blah. That part was kind of funny. But at the same time, I feel bad for the kid, because the kid had that bad of an experience that now in high school, he's still holding on to that. That's fucked.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because a
That's
3-year-old, like a
Oh my
third
God.
grader is going to internalize a lot of that. Not know what to do because the power dynamic, right? As a high schooler, like the power dynamic starts to disappear because high schoolers think they're hot shit.
We'll see.
That's
I
probably
also,
part of the reason he submitted this like this.
But you also
I
realize
can
they
definitely see
aren't
that.
hot shit too. Like you just kind of realize that teachers they aren't God. So it's
Yeah.
like it's like you're my mom. I don't even listen to my mom. Why the hell am I gonna listen to you?
Yeah.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
Yeah.
But what were you saying, TJ?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how serious this was too, because I could also see him submitting basically a joke of an essay just for the hell of it. Because high schoolers are like that.
Jackasses,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but not to discount his experience.
I mean,
The amount of mauled I would have been in that principal's office. I would have.
Dude, yeah. If I thought,
As a parent, I would have been pissed.
Dude,
yeah,
I would
me
have.
too.
I would have been asking for that person to not be at that school anymore. I would have been at the Board of Education. I would have been whoever I can talk to and whoever I can get in front of. They're getting a pissed off Chris. Like I am.
Yeah.
This is going back to while we were taking that little break. I did bring up to I was talking to Brandon about how he's scared about certain things coming out, or like he's scared about like being on a show like this. He's like, who knows what might come out from this, or what might say that might get me fired. Okay, understandable. You're also a teacher who's like, it's so hard to fire a teacher because like no one else wants to be one.
But that's only true after 3 years. He was talking about this the other day. How your first 3 years you're on probation.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and you really think that this old lady that was being supposedly racist to this kid, I'm gonna just give benefit out to the kid and say
She's
she
definitely
was
been
racist.
a teacher over 3 years.
Yeah, you really think like she's gonna get fired from angry Chris going to go yell at her and stuff like that?
No.
Yeah, like
we could argue that it shouldn't be that way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, should someone get fired quickly? Should someone like not get fired quickly? Especially
I don't know if that's the argument, right?
I think
it's like this particular teacher. Should this particular teacher be fired quickly?
Well, the first thing you got to do is like you have to pick a side here. Was this kid telling the truth? 100%. Like, was the teacher actually racist? Are all these things stated as is? Like, are you gonna believe a kid if a kid came up to you and was like, "Hey, that teacher over there, I think she's being racist to me. She's always mean to me. She doesn't let me go out to play with other kids." If you're an adult in that situation, what do you do?
Okay, so to rephrase what you said,
if a kid came up to you, basically complain.
Let me rephrase. Yeah, so if a kid shows up and he tells you, "I have a teacher that's being racist," what are you gonna do? That's the question you're asking us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna investigate. I'm gonna believe the kid. I'm gonna investigate, right? Not because I don't think the kid doesn't believe that, or that it's not true, but because like, if the kid is telling me this, something's going on that shouldn't be going on, right? So it doesn't hurt to just go investigate it, figure out what's wrong.
Yeah, but how do you go about investigating this?
Listen to the kid. The kid says, "Yeah, she
like,
makes the white kid sit in the front and the dark-skinned kid sit in the back," right?
I don't know. I just think this goes into like that complicated thing, like teach. I was going back to Brand. Like Brand, like what are your steps of doing this? Like if a student comes with it, because he's an actual teacher. He laughed when I made a joke about him having the handbook. He's like, "You think we get handbooks about this kind of stuff?" His statement was basically, I simply go talk to an administrator, tell him what I heard. That's all I can do. There's nothing else. How's that administrator going to investigate? Does the administrator go sit in their class while they're there?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that's just I think that's just a roundabout way of like, well, I'm not going to be. It's like, if I know I'm being supervised, I'm probably acting better than if I wasn't.
I mean, yeah, that's just kind of when you have an administrator in there. I had high school teachers that would act different when you had the AP or the principal sitting in there. It's like, you're not this nice during class. You are not the same person.
Yeah.
Which, okay, to be honest, right, that's anyone though. If anyone has their boss come in and watch them work, they're going to try to do better, right? So like, I still think it's better to just have that person there, right? And observe, because that way they can see for themselves, are they acting a particular way? And also, no matter how hard you try, if you're being watched for long enough, you're going to crack. And not crack in the sense that you'll go back immediately, but you're going to show like habits and things happen, right?
Yeah, but like in our school system as it is, I don't think we have an administrator just to give up to sitting in a classroom. Let's say for like a week.
If that's the question, I think something
like this just gets brushed underneath the rug. Nothing happens to that teacher. The kid is just not a nutcase. It's just a loose end.
Yeah,
like just an isolated incident. She's never gonna get investigated. Teacher probably still has a job. She's old and died, like this kid hopes.
Damn.
Now, what bad teachers did you guys have? Like I know,
I had my mom
I
for a couple of years of school. Like in 2nd grade and 6th grade, my mom was my teacher because I went to a private school.
oh,
that my
okay.
Yeah.
mom
It's like,
taught
were
at,
you homeschooled?
and no, so because single mother family, it's like we only have one car to get me to school. Okay, we're constantly moving around. It's like, okay, well, I can either send you off to school. I don't really have a way of picking you up. I guess you could take the bus, but we keep moving. It just makes it more complicated. I work at this private school. You can go to the school for free. You're coming to work with me. Like it's simpler for me just to pick you up. You're like we're going to that school. So she taught me in 2nd and 6th grade. And in 2nd grade, 1st grade, I got my ass whooped. So my mom was my nemesis. Jesus. But also like going back to the thing you were talking about with like talking to kids, hear them saying things. Kids pick up on things weird. Like for me, John Cena, right? I have 2 examples. John Cena has like one of his special moves where he puts somebody across his shoulders and like flips them off and slams them on the ground, right? From my
Close hell,
understanding,
close hell.
that is called the FU, right?
Yeah.
When I'm growing up, I called it that because I never really correlated FU to anything negative. It was just that's the name of that move. Just
Okay, are you abbreviating "fuck you" or is it called the "fu"?
Well, that's the thing.
That's what he
it's
knew
that.
it as.
It is that.
No. I'm asking you, like when you were saying it as a kid, are you abbreviating it right now or right now?
That's
Are
exactly
you saying
what
it the same? You're saying you called it the "fu."
Yeah, he had 2 special moves. He had
Okay.
one where he'd like body slam somebody basically off of his shoulders, and he had one where he'd put you in like a special like submission. One of them was the FU. One of them was the other one that was submission was the STFU. Right now,
I see.
I'm not putting 2 and 2 together when I'm. This is 1st grade. I'm not. Putting,
Yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah, just like I'm not putting 2 and 2 together. When I was in 1st grade, I got in trouble for this. So, private Christian school, certain things you're just not allowed to do, right? And there's also, you have a displeasure with the devil, right? You got beef, right? So in my mind,
Yeah.
I thought the issue with sticking your middle finger up was the fact that it was vertical pointing towards heaven. So I, in my ultimate wisdom, was like, this isn't right. And I remember doing this in 1st grade and getting so much trouble and this being like a big deal. So instead of me flicking up, I put it down and then flicked it out. Because I thought the issue was we're pointing it towards God. So I was like, but if I point it towards the devil, we're good. And my teacher was like, my mom went unglued on me because she's like, you know what that means? I was like, I don't. What are you talking? Yes, you do. Because so there's
Ain't
also
no way
Okay,
you're
to be
that
honest,
stupid.
you did know though, right? When you
No,
did that,
I
you
had
made
no
the
idea.
assumption that it was different.
No, that's one of those things that's burned into my mind of me getting in trouble, in like deep trouble, and like parents going off on me, is because I had no idea I was doing something wrong, and I got treated as if I knew what I did was wrong and chose to do it anyways. I just remember that moment of being like, oh wait, this is wrong. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then,
Okay, and this sounds like did this happen a lot in childhood?
oh yeah. I mean, enough to where I have multiple instances of me in my mind going like, my mom going, that was stupid, or I remember getting spanked and it being like, you know what you were doing was wrong. I'm not thinking in the immediate, is this action wrong? What are going to be the negative consequences of this action? I'm just doing. I'm living life.
I like to imagine like a kid Chris being like, "Yeah, fuck you to the devil." Wait, is that not the guy we all hate? Like, why am I in trouble?
I'm the bad guy for this.
I'm the bad guy. I thought.
Dude, I remember that so vividly, and just my teacher, Miss April, looking at me and going, "You can't do that. You can't do that." And I'm like, "No, what do you mean? What do you mean I can't do it?" I'm like, Miss April, don't do this to me. I'm sorry. And then
No. I remember seeing a picture the other day that was like, yeah, I stood up and yelled boo when they brought up the devil in church and they kicked me out. I thought we were against that guy.
Yeah, well, and
Like-
that's along the lines of what I was thinking. But that was kind of my point about like kids being able to take in information and what they do with it. Maybe the teacher wasn't doing racist things, but if the teacher did have that letter that said you have to sign this and saying you're going to get expelled, and like they tormented my kid over that, and I had that paper.
Yeah.
That is the thing I'm losing my like mind over,
Yes.
because that is something in writing. You made my kid feel bad for an hour, maybe at like 30 minutes, an
There's
hour at a
something
time.
you
made
have
them
zero
stressed out.
evidence about. Even if you do have evidence, that is scumminess
Also,
to make a kid.
Like in like a modern lens of looking at it, right? Think of the trauma that child went through.
Mhm.
So that now in high school they're still remembering it, right? And they still feel like this strongly about it to write this, even if it's a joke letter, like right kind of thing, right? from being sat down as a child and told by the person that you think is like the ruler of the world right now that you did this wrong thing and you have to admit to it. I don't care what you say. It doesn't matter. You did it. Like that kind of thing. Like being humiliated. That's terrible. And that should be something that a teacher loses a job over, you know?
That's what I would come unglued, is the humiliation of my kid for like a prolonged period of time. It's one thing to get on to somebody, and the humiliation that comes with, you messed up and you get in trouble in front of the class.
Yeah, like hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's social interaction. Go outside or something like that. Bad behavior. But to like sit there and harp on it, nah, we have issues now.
I still don't think that teacher loses their job.
No, they don't.
100%.
I mean, maybe realistically not, but more ideally, I mean,
they should.
They probably should. Yeah, they should. I don't think you're suited to be like a teacher of young children. You're doing something like that. If you don't understand like what you're doing to mess up that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah. I will always remember this 8th grade teacher. I actually had her for 2 years, 7th and 8th grade, where she was my literature teacher for both years. And there's nothing worse than like, okay, well that teacher was bad, but it's done. I'm going to 8th grade now. She isn't behind. And then looking at like my schedule that they give you like 1 week before school, like, how do I have the same teacher? She's like, yeah, guys, I decided to switch to 8th grade literature instead of 7th grade literature. You bitch. Why are you doing this to me? Like, like, you cannot, this can't be legal, right? Like,
you can't be following me.
That felt like she was following me, dude. I know she had out for me at the end. Like, so this teacher where, part of her assignments, so every single day we'd have a word of a day. So it's like, okay, you have a word, you have your word journal, just write down the journal, write the definition down, maybe a sentence or two that she has up there. Very simple. I still didn't do it that much just because I was a 7th grader. But, easy stuff. The second part of that is that your journal is your word bank to her crossword puzzles. So as day by days go by, the amount of words, you had like, at some point she did cap it off. I think the cap was like 120 words for a crossword puzzle with nonsensical clues. Talking about like, one of the clues that should give you is like, rhymes with fast. When I tell you rhymes with fast, what's like a word that comes to your mind?
Mast. Last.
Yeah, no, he's right. Last, yeah.
No, TJ, you're stupid. How could you not realize that when it says rhymes with fast, a word that you should be using is something like quick? Because when it says rhyme, it's a synonym, not an actual rhyme.
I'd say that's objectively wrong. That's not what he means.
Yes.
That was one of the things
hilarious.
He did. And this is like, everyone in her class hated these crossword puzzles. I mean, we got to the point where like, at some point someone realized like, hey, you look at the URL code she leaves at the very bottom, like you can find it, get the answers. We did that for a while, and then someone told her, and she started cropping it.
That bitch.
I don't want to gender this person, but probably based on my experiences.
That fucker.
Mm-hmm. Based on some of my experiences, but no. Then the second incident to happen, I'm sure this like put me in like, this definitely like brought her crosshair on my face. It was, I decided to make a petition. No more crossword puzzles. And this is me and my 14-person class. That was my literature class. I had like I had the smallest ones out of all 6 periods. Was, I'm gonna make a petition. I got like a good chunk of the class to sign it. Near like the end of the line, the girl who has it, the teacher notices like, hey, you guys are passing stuff around. She like goes to take it, and the girl is not hiding it or anything fast enough. She gets it off her desk. She looks at it, and she's like, ah! She always had a smile on her face, by the way. Smile on the face, always had the same hair. She's like, guys, what? Alejandro, why did you make this thing? Like, why did you make this petition about this? I'm like, how'd you know I made it? She's like, you're the first person who signed it. I'm like, oh shit, she's good. Like, shit, she's good.
You dumbass.
She's like, guys.
She's a detective and everything. Holy.
Yeah, she really did the work. She did the work.
Nah, dude. If that was like Alejandro right now put into his 7th grade body, easy deflection. Like,
how do you deflect it? I'm gonna hit you with it right now.
Okay.
Guys, Alejandro, why did you make this?
I didn't make it.
What? But your name is right here. It's the first one.
Yeah, someone passed it to me first.
Who passed it to you?
I don't know.
So you made it?
No.
No, I think you made it.
No, I didn't make it.
Come stand in front of the class and write why you made it on the board 500 times.
Nah, she didn't do that.
Yeah, but
Nah, I'm pretty sure she tanked my grades at the my grades in her class. Do that.
yeah.
Now, I also didn't help that I never did homework in that class because it was a crossword puzzle, and I'll be damned if I'm doing a fucking 120 word crossword. Dude, if I had someone like Kathy on right now, she should also agree because she used to do them too.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that they were fucking ass. I hated her. The second person that goes on this list, fucking Miss Brown. And the molding experiences I've had in her classes.
That is a hot take.
That's not a hot take, TJ. No. Dude, you might have been one of her favorites, so you didn't notice it. And I think everyone who wasn't like, and I'm gonna say her group of like students that she like generally likes more, felt her wrath way more. There was one time, and I remember this explicitly, we were in Vex Robotics, and I made a comment like, I always showed up last because I had to get picked up by my mom at the school, and I got dropped off at CEC. This is my last year, so like none of you guys were there. I think I was team captain, and I'd show up, and like I see my other two team players. Hey, they're like messing around with the bot and the thing. I go like, hey, did you guys like charge the backup batteries so you can test it all day? Like, no, we couldn't. Blah blah. We forgot. Like, okay, guys, like just make sure you charge your backup batteries before you do it. She turns around from her desk because we're all in the same small enclosed room, and goes, "Why did you put them to charge, Alejandro?" I'm like, well, I show up last, so I think it'd be fair if one of my like teammates would do this. She's like, "But you're the captain. Why aren't you doing it? Isn't that right, Ashley?" And Ashley, maybe she liked Ashley because she was a female engineer versus me being a male engineer. She like wanted to empower her about it. I could see her eyes also being like, "I do not want to be in this situation."
Uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable of her just being like, why don't you just get, why don't you do it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I think I should be able to send as a captain a message in our group chat like, hey, just plug in the batteries. Like I'm not asking for a giant task here. I'll do it myself. I cannot get here earlier. I just remember her like constantly just railing on me on that one.
I always had pretty good experiences with her. But I don't think I ever had like a really bad teacher who had it out for me because I never talked during school and I was incredibly reserved, so there was nothing for them to be mad at. So but I did absolutely notice with Miss Brown, she would like be mad at students, So I mean, I don't know if she had like a pet peeve specifically for like people being outgoing or people like being very maybe loud per se, or what exactly her bit might be, but yeah.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm a jackass in all my classes. I remember back in high school when I used to take my Spanish classes. My Spanish 2 teacher, I don't remember her name anymore, honestly. I think she didn't like me, not because like I didn't speak Spanish and I wasn't like informed of the culture. I think she thought that was cool to some degree. Like I speak Spanish fluently, and I'm also somewhat immersed in some degree of the culture because like my parents raised with me on it. I think she hated me. I was such a loud distraction in her class. She, at multiple points, did she like separate the group of people I sit with, and whatever group she pushed me into next, I'd just start talking to them, and they'd start talking to me. She had me like in the very back corner of the class. Couldn't just be chilling back there, like half staring, half talking to my friend beside me. And every once in a while, she'd be like, "Alejandro, stop talking." It's like, okay, go back to it. One time, she was telling like she was divorced, as far as I know. She was like, "Yeah, guys, I'm pretty disappointed with men right now. I've recently tried to get back into the dating game, and some of the men you see are, it's crazy. Like, it's like, I have my blah, 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 blah." She's explaining some concept like that, and I think I go like, she's like, "I went on a date the other day. I think I like, a common bit that I do was whisper under my breath is, who's the unlucky guy?" I do that to any friend group of me, unlucky girl. I think I thought I whispered it underneath my breath, like, "Oh really, who's the unlucky guy?" The amount of heads I had turned to look at me, like, "Yo, Alejandro, what the fuck did you just like?" One girl actually was like, "Alejandro, you can't say that." She didn't react. The teacher didn't react. I'm assuming this goes like, this is the Brandon like mentality of don't interact with it. But she might have heard me, and
she definitely heard you. But at the same time, if she already has you labeled as this is the troublemaker in the class, I have nothing against him personally, but he just causes distractions. She may just filter out what you say. Yeah. So like she heard it, she didn't process.
Dude, I don't know. it's a reflex of me to make that comment whenever I hear someone bring up their relationship or something like that. Like, yeah, who's an unlucky girl or who's an unlucky guy? So like when everyone in the class like immediately turned around to look at me. Oh no! I was like, oh shit! Did I not whisper that?
Damn. I don't know. You have all these stories about like middle school and high school, like with teachers' experience and things like that. I don't really have that many like negative experiences with my teachers. I was a lot. Well, once I got out of middle school, I was a much more of a goody two shoe, right? The only like real experiences I remember of like negativity from my teacher was one time in middle school. We were I was trying to get I got a drink of water at the middle of the fountain right before you go into the gym, and like right near it is like the band room. And my friend was like up next after me, and he started trying to get water like after I did, right? And I decided I'm gonna tickle this fucker as he's trying to drink water because it'll be funny if if he like spills the water, right?
Yeah.
And my other friend joins in and does the same thing, right? So we tickle him as he's trying to go for it, and he like jumps back and he's like, "Oh, what the hell?" Blah, 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 right? And the band teacher comes out, and she looks at us, and she's like, "Jorge, what are you guys doing? What? Why are you guys hassling that boy? Blah blah blah." And then he starts trying to defend us. He's no, they weren't hassling me. No, we were just messing around. She's like, oh, so all three of y'all were horse playing around.
Oh,
so now
man.
all three of us are in trouble, right? She's like, what class are you supposed to be in right now? Because like at this point, the bell has like already like almost everyone that's in their class is already there, and the bell's about to ring, right? And we're like right outside the gym, so we're like, oh, we're supposed to be in the gym right now. She's like, oh, I'm sure the coach isn't gonna like to hear this. So she goes over and gets to the coach. The coach comes out. Coach didn't like me for some reason. Probably because I was a little dick, like a dick in middle school. I just was, right? He comes out. He's like, you boys know better than that. Y'all go straight to the assistant principal. Just explain to him why we're sending you, right? So, like, what's it called again? So, us not knowing anything better to do, right? We just kind of go by ourselves, like, head in shame. Halfway there, the kid that we're tickling is like, guys, I got this, right? Don't worry. Just go back. I'll go talk to the principal by myself.
Certified
like,
cool guy.
No, like this
certified cool guy
no.
there.
I don't know about that, right? I never got in trouble for it. Past that point, I just went back to class, and when the coach asked why, I said, "Oh, they just sent us back. They sent us two back." All right, we're doing blah blah blah, and like he sent us to go do that stuff, right? But still, like that kid, I still don't know why he took the bullet. I know that he was in the principal's office a lot because he had a lot of behavioral issues, right? But I just always remember that interaction. I'm like, that teacher's a bitch. That teacher's such a bitch.
And Jorge, as someone else who went to the same school, and I was in band, I had that teacher for like 90%. I was never on her crosshairs. Like the amount of people she would shoot at, and like, first of all, she never hated that many band kids. Like, if you were in her class, she was generally really nice to you. But even then, like, and when I tell you these stories, Jorge, none of my stories have bad endings. Like I've never been sent to ISS or anything like that.
Which is insane.
Like in high school, I never got sent to ISS, or in middle school. Got silent lunch. You like maybe once or twice in middle school, but even then, like the things that I was getting silent lunch for, the other things I did should have sent me way further. I remember at some point I started the joke of taking ketchup packets and smashing them on the table.
Oh,
so they squirt across the table. I did that once or twice. Or twice, and then I did it underneath the table the second time or the first time. Like I'd squirt underneath the table. You probably hear like some girl like on the other end of the table be like, "What just hit me?" It's like, huh? It's like, it's just us, our group of like. It was like 7 of us, 3 girls, 4 guys, all just giggling up. Like,
of course.
Now I got word that someone else in my group, like someone else that knew me, was doing this. He did it. Put it on the wall. A teacher noticed it. He got ISS for like a week, and his parents were called. I'm like, I'm sure lucky that wasn't me, and I stopped doing it after that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
See, the only time I got like silent lunch in middle school was one time I was arguing with another student. I think I said fuck outside of the bathrooms, right outside the, like not outside the bathrooms, right? Like we were walking into the bathroom, and I said fuck or something really loud. And the hall monitor, the person that was standing out there, heard me. Said, "Jorge, come out here." No, I came out and was like, "Did you just say the bad word or whatever?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, you have silent lunch, blah, blah, blah. I only got it for like 3 days. Another time I got silent lunch in that same like cafeteria, it was because the table behind us were fucking around doing I don't know what, and they threw like an open ranch cup at our table, and it landed on my tray. I was like, what the fuck? Who's just throwing stuff? And so I grabbed it and just chucked it behind my back. And of course, the administrator saw me doing that, and I got silent lunch for a week because of that shit.
Hell yeah, though. I would have done the same thing. Yeah. Immediately just, not my problem.
Fuck, and I just picked it up and threw it.
That's pretty good.
Did you guys ever do nut checks in middle school? I know I've mentioned this.
So that does transition me pretty well. So the only I was never really like I didn't have an antagonistic relationship with any teachers really. I just had like some that were maybe not good at doing their job, but no bad relationship, no malice. But in kindergarten, I went to like a church preschool thing for pre-K and kindergarten, and the lady who ran it, I'm still like family friends with her kind of thing. So I was friends with this kid who was a very bad influence on me back in the day. He like this is like that one preschooler who like would watch rated R movies and shit, and you're like, oh man, he's so cool. And
cool.
Yeah, maybe, but I remember we were lining up to do like this like activity thing, like maybe it was like a music thing or something. And he was standing next to me, and he was like, "Hey, I saw this movie last night, and like there's this weird scene where somebody hit someone else right in the crotch, and he like fell over. It completely like did him in. It incapacitated him, and because we didn't know what balls were, you know. And, and he was like, "Yeah, like this." He punched you right in the balls. And I was like, and so flash for like 10 minutes, we were doing like some other activity thing, sitting crisscross applesauce as you do, and I got him back, and we traded like 2 or 3 times, and then the teacher's like, what? So she sent us out, and I was like real goody two shoes like influenced, and so like I was like bawling when she got onto us, and the lady who I know, she was like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Oh shit. She hit you with one of those, and as a little kid, you don't know what to say because you're like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm a monster.
Because like the teacher also knew me personally at that point, so it was like a genuine concern of, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? I know your parents raised you better. I'm going to call them today.
Yeah.
DJ, I not only did I have a nut check thing going on in middle school, I still know most of those people in the circle. It was like a solid 8 or 10 of us that were nut checking each other. And it's one of those things where it's like, you know, we'd go to our lockers, shut it. You get nut checked as I go walk to my class. So you're over there like leaning on the lockers, like, oh shit. One time in band class, it was like we did a thing where like we pulled the chair from behind someone in the band class. So he falls down. He's like, he holds himself up with his other two, like the other 2 seats. Just kind of like, he's like, his legs are still bent as if he was sitting down, but he's holding his lower body with his chairs. Dude, I did a grand slam on his balls where I was like, yo,
what is
it? Like dropped it on him, and he like,
oh no,
he was like leaning over for so long.
This was fun for y'all.
Oh Lord,
this was fun for you.
I don't
See,
know.
our equivalent of that was like Scoop. We'd walk up to people.
Oh, we did that too. We do that too.
Or like a bean dip on their freaking chest.
No.
For like,
dude,
I think we stopped it for after a while because we're like, guys, this is a mutually assured destruction. We are all gonna ruin each other if we keep doing this. Like, the amount of kids we are ruining right now.
Yeah.
We stopped after that. I never got that bad. I never had a situation that the guy who I did that to, he was number 1 chair in the seat. So like so when the teacher's like looking for someone to play in our section, he's over here like hunched over, like, can you play this for me? He's like
dying.
Yeah, sure.
Out of breath. That's pretty good. Dude,
I never got caught for it.
I think the worst ever nut check thing I got as a kid, this was like out of school, but in 1st grade, I was in the same neighborhood as like someone that like as a classmate, and I was friends with him. I went over to his house, and we were playing on this trampoline in the back, and he was like, hey dude, I was watching WWE this morning and like, bro, there was like this really cool move. Can I try it on you? And I was like, yeah, sure. Just like, just act it out. Don't actually like do it. And he was like, yeah, okay. Grabs me by the shoulders and drives his knee right into my testicles on a trampoline. So he bounced into it. And I blacked out for like 20 minutes. I remember the impact and falling down and not being able to breathe. It was so bad.
Oh my god.
I only remember like coming out of a coma, like waking up like, where am I?
Why?
Oh god.
Why did you let this happen to yourself?
Well, because like,
what did your little kid brain possess?
I trusted him that I trusted that he wouldn't go full force. That's the bit. He also very briefly explained it, like he had in his mind he was gonna do this and not take no for an answer. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, you can just like act it out. I want to know what the thing was. So I didn't really know what WWE was either, so I didn't really fully comprehend what he was gonna do. I think he was
a naive child taking advantage.
I thought he was gonna pull a fucking Kamehameha or some shit. No, he killed me.
Dude, TJ, oh man, you say like, why were you doing this? I remember back in elementary school, I had this other friend that we used to, I guess it's to show how tough we were to each other. You would kick each other in the balls and to be like, I didn't even feel it. Like a tear coming out. We're going like, I'm talking like Three Stooges level skit where like, I kick him, he kicks me. I kick him, he kicks me. We're both just standing there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what compelled me to do this. I just knew that was something that hurt a lot, and we'd get brownie points for like looking tough in front of each other.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, you said scoops were a big thing in your thing. Scoops were a big thing on my thing too. To the point where this happened, I think, after you were out of the middle school system. Remember, they had to make an announcement on the like intercoms, like students scooping each other. Do not touch other students. Like, do not scoop each other. Do not neck each other. If we catch you doing this, you are getting like ISS, silent lunch, whatever. Your parents are getting called. Around that time, I remember my friend Sheldon. One time, this was back in band class, because all the crazy stuff happened in band class. He was part of percussion, so he's standing in the back. So he doesn't even have like the courtesy of a like sheet music holder in front of him to like cover up his face while he's doing stupid shit. He was a tall, lanky guy. He goes up, and I don't know the full context, but I know he scooped my friend Sam. Like, scoop. The teacher sees him and goes, Sheldon, what'd you just do? Why'd you just do that? He's like, muscle spasm? And she's like, so you had a muscle spasm that made you reach out and hit his chin. He's like, yeah. Like, and went back to conducting. Like, we all gave him so much shit. Like, what the fuck did you mean about muscle spasm, Sheldon? He's like, it worked out. It worked.
He should not have gotten away with that.
I don't know, right? The stupid shit you would do as a kid is great. I remember one time my friend was like looking into her office while she was like yelling at some other student. He was kind of like looking in. I walked up behind him and just pushed his head. So he was like, thunk. And he just like turned around and looked at me. He's like, I don't remember what he said. He was like, you want to go or something like that? Or like, what was that for, Alejandro? I'm like, I don't know. I saw you doing it.
Good God.
Dude, Jorge, the amount of like slapstick things I would do in middle school. Middle school was like the perfect time for me to do this stuff because I never got in trouble, seriously. I used to do that thing where like someone's drinking milk and you chop their neck.
Yeah, I've done that before too.
I remember that.
They're like, gulp, gulp, and you just go, you go like, what the fuck, Alejandro?
Dude, speaking of dairy products, I remember, so I was not a part of this. I only found out about it maybe like a year later. But so I had that aforementioned teacher, Miss Brown, from middle school. And one of the years I had her, I was in there with some goofballs, some true goobers. And we had those like kind of old school computers. And the way she had the classroom set up, or the way it was set up, there's some computers that you just couldn't see from her desk because they were just actual like dividers in the room. And there was a group of kids in the back who they the computers were old enough that they had like the trays that would just slide out. It's like a physical tray. You put you put a CD on and then slide it back in. Put a slice of cheese in it. Closed it. They put a Kraft single in there. Closed it.
Dude,
I don't know what happened, but
this is
like
the kind of shit that only like a kid, you would do as a kid.
Yes. And sometimes it's not even because you have a good reason. Sometimes it's just to do it.
I'm watching a scene from The Simpsons where he's like, you see Bart is smashing mustard packets on the floor, like on the carpet, and he's like, Bart, why are you doing that? And he's like, He's like, yeah, this time I have to punish. He's like, I don't know. I just felt like it.
See, that's a Chris thing right there. Chris, I feel like would just do shit and not know why.
Well, because you don't really think. Well, okay, I would do things, and a lot of what I would do is really like stuff I would say. I didn't do much like destructive activity, like destroy things, but I would say things that come to my mind because they came to my mind. One of which was we're in like a car ride with my aunt, and her husband is disabled. He's also a piece of shit, but you know he's disabled. And it's funny to make fun of him because he's a piece of shit. So
yeah,
what kind of disability is it, Chris? Just so we know, just where all my jokes are making.
Some type of degenerative bone thing where he's had to have his like hips replaced.
Osteoporosis.
Take osteoporosis, put it.
I have osteoporosis.
30-year-old make it crazy worse than osteoporosis, but it's basically that.
Damn.
It targets his joints. So he has had his hip replaced like 8 or 9 times, and that was as of me being in like first grade. So he was like 30. He's already has his hip replaced like 6, 7, 8 times. So he would always walk around either on crutches or with a cane.
Yeah.
So whenever he got upset, I thought it would be funny to say he can literally raise Cain. You know, when he has his cane. And I'm in a car. There's 5 of us in a car. I'm in the back seat. All seats are taken, and nobody laughs. I think my aunt looks over to me. She goes, "That's not funny. Don't say that."
That shit was funny. Fuck them.
And in my mind, I'm going, "That's hilarious. That is legit funny." And he's an asshole, so I think that's fine. But evidently,
Chris, I need to show you. We need to watch this clip of The Simpsons. Sorry, this has made me just think of that, like inappropriately making a joke that no one else enjoys.
All right, where are you sending this?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's queue up.
I don't think anything bad will happen if I watch The Simpsons on a YouTube channel. This YouTube channel could do it, so I think we can too. I'm ready. All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
sometimes.
Yes.
I don't know, just the idea of making a super inappropriate joke in a situation and no one else laughs with you.
I've done the same. I've done that like more so that clip where I'll make a joke to myself and just start laughing when I haven't told it or anything. So it's like I'm laughing at that very uncomfortable situation.
Chris, TJ, this goes back to me telling that teacher who's the unlucky guy. I thought I was just thinking to myself. I didn't realize I said it out loud and the class could hear me.
Oh man.
So there's the thing
Unlucky.
people do, like whenever you're just mutually, you don't really know somebody well, but you're just kind of acquainted. Generally, you're going to talk about upbeat things. You'll crack small jokes. It's, it's light stuff, right? So we have somebody that works at the office that I'm at, the cleaning lady. We're talking the other day. She smoked for I think 40 years. So, she sounds like she smoked for 40 years, and she's talking to me about something. I don't know. The coffee maker's going. I'm pouring coffee. I can't really hear. She says something after I put my sugar in the cup and I'm stirring, and I just kind of go, haha, yeah.
Oh no. Oh no, she told you something sad.
It dawned on me after about 5 seconds I put it together. She said something about her having diabetes. And my answer to that was just a giggle. I was like,
How did you play this off?
I just went on about my day. I mean,
You didn't say anything? You didn't even go, wait, what? Because that's what I would do.
Oh no, you're fucked? My bad. I didn't realize.
No, that would have been funny. Better. I feel like she would have felt better if you just went, wait, sorry, what did you say again? Like something like that, right? Because then that gives you a chance. That gives you a chance to react.
10 seconds ago, she was saying something about I don't know. It was something you just go,
Obviously, you weren't paying attention. Obviously, you don't know what she was talking about.
At that point, I couldn't.
See, Chris, this is like when I'm closing at Publix and Jody is telling me something about something in her personal life, and I have a headphone in, so I'm just agreeing with her, not actually hearing what she's telling me. Yes. And I can tell she knows I'm doing that every once in a while. Like she looks at me after I said yes, and she's like, What does that look like? You did not just hear what I said. No. Every once in a while, I'll be nice, take my headphone off and walk up closer to her.
But take Jody. That's basically our cleaning lady. Just make her shorter, heavier.
Diabetes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, for all she knows, she might be the weird one out. You might assume that you guys are closer than you actually are. Now, Jorge, this goes back to that thing with you and Donna, with her just eating one of your pizza crust.
Yes. Chris, did I tell you this story?
Mm-mm.
I was sitting in the break room at work because they said we had pizza, right? So I went over there, I grabbed my plate, grabbed like my 3 pieces of pizza, sit down, I start eating one, and I get to the crust. And if I buy the pizza, normally I eat the crust because I paid for it. You know what I mean? But they bought the pizza, and it was like cold Papa John's. So I was just like, I'm not eating the crust. Fuck the crust. I'm a big boy. I don't have to eat the crust if I don't want to, right?
Big boys.
So I leave it on my thing on my plate, and I grab my next piece, and I start eating it. And like halfway through my next piece, Donna comes in. I don't know if you ever met Donna at work.
I don't think so.
She was an older lady with blonde hair with a New York accent. She's from like New York or whatever.
No, she's actually British, but she has a different accent now. She said she used to have a British accent. She grew up in England.
Yes, like she has like a different accent now. So like she has an accent. She goes, "Hey, Jorge, how's it going? Oh, is that pizza?" Yeah, I'm like, yeah. There's some in the box over there. She's like, "Oh, okay." She grabs one of my crust and just starts eating it. And I'm halfway through my pizza, so I'm just like,
okay. I guess that happened.
Right, and like I finished this slice. Like I finished my pizza, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm not even hearing what she's saying anymore. So I go over. I'm like, I'm gonna grab more pizza. I walk over. I start looking for pizza, and Cody's like, "Oh, if you're looking for pizza, there's some what's it called again? There's like new ones on the bottom." I'm like, okay, and Donna's like, "Yeah, this cold one sucks. I don't know. Is there like new one?" I'm like, yeah, it's over here, Donna." I was just like, how do you feel so comfortable to walk up to what is essentially a stranger, right? Because we're acquaintances, like we're colleagues, like we're workers, like we work together, but we're acquaintances. I don't really know her that well. How do you walk up to a stranger, just grab their food off their plate and just start eating it?
And eat it, yeah.
And like, it wasn't until after she started eating it, she's like, "You weren't gonna eat that, right?" And I'm like, no, no, like.
Oh, I just think it's so funny to imagine like a stranger just grabbing food, like almost a stranger grabbing food off your thing, like colleague. I could not imagine her doing that to me.
And I'm not paying the social cost, whatever it is to me, to look at them and say, there's fresh pizza over there, right? Like after they've taken a bite. I'm not the kind
That wasn't even my thought. That my thought was just like, I would never eat after you, and you're eating after me. What? Are we that close? Are we homies like that? I didn't realize we were homies.
I could have AIDS for all you know. And you're doing this? Like, this is your option that you're choosing?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
No.
Lord.
Man.
Alright, Chris, let's hit a new topic here. Hit us with something. Something spicy.
I always have stuff.
Juicy.
So, I have a topic as well, if Chris is empty.
Chris.
Didn't prepare for a different topic.
No, it's fine. Just hit me.
TJ?
No, let's just go to TJ. TJ, do your topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that I watched a YouTube video the other day, and I don't mean to I'm not going to link it and have us watch it because the video itself is about 20 minutes long, and the clip that's important is also about like maybe 8 minutes. So I'll just give you the TED talk. But did you guys see like there was this AI aimbot that came out maybe a year ago? Did you guys hear this? Do you want me to tell you about
AI aimbot how?
And this is like a prereq knowledge for it. So basically, it was this aimbot that came out that would capture your screen either through a capture card or you streaming your screen to something, and it would then have an AI say, "Hey, that looks like a person. I'm going to move your crosshair over to it, and then take a shot." It would basically be aim assist because it would kind of be variable, like to be dead ass aimbot or more like a more like a suggestion, like a speed limit. So the
speed limit is not a suggestion.
The AI would also be completely separate from your computer. It would just work like a human interface device. So it would just be like a mouse plugged in.
Yeah, like an HID device.
Yeah, and so there's no anti-cheat that can really do anything about it because it's just see if you have a capture card, So so it was like a basically undetectable and pretty damn good and very universal. So I remember I think it was Activision just went after it. They like tried to shut down directly all the hosting sites for it, which is a little unheard of. Usually, game companies don't try to just fucking kill it. They just try to ban people for using it.
But on what grounds did they go after it?
I'm not fully aware on this one, but they basically just tried to shut down the website that hosted it, and I believe they did.
How?
I'm not sure, but it's also not super important for this because it also didn't kill it, of course not. It just spreads everywhere. It's a fucking program.
Yeah, of course.
Like somebody can watch Seinfeld on a billion different websites without paying for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like a YouTuber I kind of very loosely followed saw this and he was like, "Hey, I play FPS games. I don't like cheaters, so I'm gonna try to assemble a crew to kind of go against this." And their aim was to develop their own AI that could examine footage and say, "Hey, it looks like an AI is doing this. So let's ban them based off that." And they made something. What they made was more like a website where you could upload a clip and then analyze it and see if anyone was using AI. So this same YouTuber, like a year later, made basically an update post saying, "Hey guys, here it is." But in this video, he collaborated with this other group, and this is this is like the rub. This is the meat and potatoes I'm trying to get to. This other group basically had the same thing. Or the same idea. They're trying to tackle the same problem, but their approach was to analyze the behavior of users to say, "Hey, in the video, the guy gave an example of in the game Escape from Tarkov, it is plagued with cheaters. I think it might be a majority of people are cheating or some ridiculous stat, and the guy."
Or would it be a baseline cheating stat? Like I don't think like baseline cheating for your game, like 5% less.
So actually, I'm not 5% is high.
Well, so
that's one in every 20.
The people. So for Tarkov specifically, I'm not sure what the stats are, but the people in the video said like more like 30% across most FPSs, which is a lot.
That's insane.
But also again, that doesn't matter too much for what I'm trying to get into. I'm trying to go for more abstract conversation. But basically in Tarkov, there's this guy like YouTuber who's like, "Hey, I hate cheating, especially with the type of game Tarkov is. Where it's a looter shooter kind of FPS, but like you extracting loot is more of a meta aspect of the game that players can dict over in." And so he just downloaded a bunch of cheats and just seeing what's like being a cheater. And you could kind of notice like the way you can kind of tell if other people are cheating is the way they're acting, the way they're behaving. If someone is not cheating, they're probably behaving tactically. They're like checking corners, because who knows if someone's there. They're scouting out buildings. They're playing around like angles, assuming people are there. The person who is seeing through walls and knows what everyone's gear is, they can see, okay, there's no one in this building. I'm just gonna sprint through it, get what I need, and leave. So what this other group is doing is they're analyzing the behavior of players. So they've built it too. It's basically a finished product, minus like some testing. But what it'll do is it'll analyze the behavior of a player. With some AI to say, "Hey, based on how we're looking at this, you are behaving like you have aimbot. So we're gonna flag you as a cheater, and it's also very well done. So the stats that the people have in this video is maybe 15 to 20% of people they can guarantee are cheating, but they suspect it's more. Their philosophy on determining that metric is more. Let's like only flag someone if we're like positive they're cheating. If it was more the suspect status, let's not count it. So what they're aiming to do is build like a fingerprint for users. So if you are playing and they have a clip of you, or if they catch it live, they can analyze your behavior, see how you're playing, and they can keep a record of it, and they compare that to and then like ban you, see if you're hacking. But they can also do that to future accounts, because like this fingerprint they have of you is just how you play the game. It's not an account you have. It's not the game you're playing. So it can. I don't know if they very explicitly say to work across games, but it'll definitely work across accounts. So if you like with this model, the days of you playing with a cheat, getting banned, making a new account, those are over. You as a person, you as a set of behaviors, you as a brain is banned from the game. And the person making the video kind of like acknowledges like it's now unclear how the policies are going to be in this game, are going to be. It's unclear how this is going to be enforced and utilized. I'm also unsure of that. And so my words going forward are going to be a little bit hyperbolic and also a little saying what if. But this gameplay fingerprint, this behavior map of a person, just flew like started raising red flags for me on a more anonymity kind of internet privacy kind of bit. Because this model is also just if you can analyze gameplay, it's explicitly stated if you have a clip of someone cheating, they can make a record of it and say, okay, yeah, even if this clip's from like 10 years ago, we know who you are and we know you're cheating. But what if you were just a stupid teenager and you're like, hey, let me just install this program, and now you're a streamer? Are you screwed?
Like my counter to that is behavior is constantly changing.
See, here's
so it's not always going to flag off on you. It can't always flag off on you. Right?
Well, and here's the thing. I'm going off of their words on how well they say it works. They say they say this is a thing. They say behavior analyzing AI works this well. So I'm assuming that it does, and I'm more trying to introduce this topic to gamers who like you three who play ranked and stuff like that. Because I don't play competitively, so my opinion of this is gonna be different. But more so assuming this will work pretty damn well, especially kind of seeing how well AI has gotten in recent years, like AI art, AI voiceover, stuff like that.
AI porn.
And exactly, ChatGPT.
What do you mean you don't know about that, Chris?
Hey, I haven't looked into it. I haven't done my research. But
It's
on the list, you know.
It's on the list. That's what you're saying.
I am a researcher.
It's just like how watching 165 hertz porn is completely different than 60 FPS.
144 on my 144 hertz monitor. Yeah. Crazy.
Entering a new dimension of frame rates.
But like basically, is that like what do you guys consider? And also like again, no idea how this is going to be enforced because it's not really implemented yet. And also, assuming it works as they claim, is this too far for gaming? Is a true permanent ban for competitive gaming too much?
Yes.
Okay, no. Let's take a step back. So the first question: is this too far for gaming? What do you mean when you say is this too far for gaming?
So I intentionally asked that question kind of broad because I think for like a streamer or competitive stuff, I think a very, very harsh sentence is pretty based. I think a more retroactive kind of thing, like I think there should be a statute of limitations on this. So like if you were very clearly a teenager, or something happened very clearly before you had a successful streaming career or competitive career, then I think it's invalid. But is having some near biometric log of you as a gamer kind of a breach of your privacy and kind of like too far for this hobby?
Okay, so there's two questions there. The first one being, is the punishment too strict, and is it too long lasting? And I think the answer is no, because you say, oh, you can't make new accounts to get around it, right? But the honest to God truth is, like, you drop me back 4 years, and I played with like wall hacks or whatever back then. I played a certain way. If I made a new account today and I didn't have the wall hacks, I won't play that same way. So even if they have quote unquote my behavior, even if they have my behavioral footprint, I'm gonna play way differently than if I have wall hacks.
No, but you have to
they won't be able to tell that it's me. Like it won't make a difference.
You're ignoring what I said earlier.
You have to go on the basis of what TJ said. Yeah, of like they claim their behavioral app can get you, so you just have to go on the basis that this thing will be able to figure out it's you. You can't just change the question to like, well, no, they can't permaban me. That wouldn't be possible because, like, as far as we know, they claim it's possible.
Yeah.
So getting permaban for cheating.
Yes.
Is that the question, or permaban for appearing to cheat?
For indicating behavior for cheating.
So getting permaban for indicating behavior to cheat is stupid. Getting permaban for cheating is not stupid.
So
that's where I stand on that.
I think
that
was
part
stupid.
One of the question.
I think
part two of the question was.
Because I don't think
what part 2 was.
I don't think you should be able to, I don't think you should get permaban for cheating. I don't know. I think especially like in a non-competitive sense, if I'm cheating in a non-competitive game, I don't think you should get permabanned. I think I should at least be able to buy the game again. I don't see why the company would be that strict on that or anything like that.
See, that's a little tangent too. I've also heard that companies like and this is not a argument that I'm fully into. I just heard it, but it's good for like it's a good move for companies to not be super into anti-cheat because of people buying new accounts and making new accounts and stuff like that. It wants to get banned for cheating. Like I know that also kind of counters if everyone's cheating, then the game is just not going to have that many sales. But like, I've heard that can be a beneficial thing for games.
Yeah, but
gaming companies, sorry.
Or hey, do I think I should be like banned permanently from Minecraft because I used to have a mod that let me play the Hunger Games way better? No. Why? Because I was playing Hunger Games on a server with nothing on stake.
That's something I kind of wanted to get into because like
maybe
like I should not be
just to respond to that. I think you should be banned from the server permanently. I don't think you should be banned from Minecraft permanently. Because at the same time, think of the 15 other people on that server whose game you just ruined. For no reason other than your own selfish enjoyment, right? And not through a way that they can also play. Assuming they're not cheaters. Like, I don't think that's fair at all. And like the same can be said about like other non-competitive games. Right? Especially... let's think of like on a lot of games like Neon White. That's the game that I got recently with Alex Stevens. That game, it has a score like time attacks for all the levels. The top like 15 people are all like 0.03s.
Yeah.
And it's like when you have a score that low, you just straight up cheated.
Yeah.
I know that that's impossible to get. That I think should still be punished because like even though it is a single player game, right? You're affecting the rest of the people that want to play the game legitimately.
Yeah,
right? It makes it like a joke.
This goes back to my like I'm talking about a non-competitive casual thing. Leaderboards are not non-competitive casual. Like they are actually competitive.
If you take World of Tanks, right? Just shit game, but it's an example of something that has a ranked modes in it. Clan type battles where you can have your team versus other teams. So in something like that, I think the first part of that, TJ, what you were saying, with being able to use a AI thing that can review for people instead of them doing it. So in our last Clan Wars, we had it's a Chinese clan. They'll play in a Clan Wars. I think the idea is they build up accounts and then sell accounts. They get like reward vehicles and then sell the accounts because you can make like hundreds of dollars. Like I've heard of people spending $500 to have a chieftain on their account, put on their account. Like
that's crazy
stuff like that, right? They're willing to spend big money for it. So, but we had to report them. Basically, my entire clan reported one of the games we were having because we were getting blind shot in positions that made 0 sense off of the smallest amount of information you could imagine. They're picking up on. So we already knew the mods they had were the destruction mod, where you destruct, like, the second you destroy something, it pings it on the minimap.
Ping.
So then you'd have like 4 shots coming at you, and you're like, guys, there's no way you knew I broke this like wooden chair that was right there. There's no way you could have known that with the position you're in. Your camera can't see over the building I'm in. Like, there's no way you know I'm here. So Wargaming has a portal where you upload the replay and you type in your comments. Hey, this is, there was cheating going on. Here's my rationale, and that has to get manually reviewed. So for something like an AI bot, they could look at it and go, "Yep, we can see when we search online and when we compare this against what other things would have generated, there's like a 95% chance that this is, not a human being playing this. This is a computer would have played it this way 95% of the time or 99% of the time." This is so I think on like review processes, this would be a great help to like hopefully get people kicked out of competitive that are just cheating and are doing things that are inhuman. Because it straight up ruins competitive when you're not playing against a human. It's
Within human bounds.
yes.
Yeah, it just makes it unfun.
Mhm.
Like completely unfun.
And that's the thing with like for the review side of thing, I think that'll be the most beneficial is banning people that are straight up ruining games. You get somebody upset enough to be able to report the person, and there's basically fact that, hey, a computer would have done this. Like, humans don't make these plays. And especially looking at, and if you can compare that game versus, like, say your gamer passport, whatever the hell you want to call it, your biological gamer passport,
Yeah.
how you move, how you look around, stuff like that. If you could compare that to something like that, it could eliminate a lot of cheating. And
Yeah,
the way
and
I
like,
see
okay.
cheating is just like an advantage using like a modification that the game developers say is unfair. Right?
Which
And a
like
lot of this is like information. In most games, it's information. That's
Yeah.
what you want to know when you're playing against another team. You want to know where they're at, what they're doing. So, yeah. Go ahead.
Mhm.
What were you saying, Jorge?
to build on what you're saying, that's why like the whole stipulation that it's always gonna know it's you. So if you had a bot playing on your account and then you start playing on it on a different account, it's always gonna it's somehow magically gonna be able to tell that, oh yeah, you're the same guy that had that bot on his account. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I think it would look at like a lot of different data points. Like one of the things is how long does it take you to respond when new information comes on your screen? How often are you flicking over to like somebody's head, say on Valorant?
Yeah, let's take
no,
Valorant
no,
as an
no.
example.
It's not the
We've
data
all
input.
played Valorant.
Like, I understand like the data part, right? The part that I don't understand is how I can feed it 500 games of me playing on a bot and 3 different accounts that it'll ban so that it builds that profile, right? And then I make a new account where I play as a human, just as a human. There's no way it can detect me because I'm never going to play the way I can pick.
With the lack of data, they're never going to pick me up, and that's just true.
Even with like data, right? Like there's just comes a certain point where it deviates too much, or it's so broad that it's catching everyone, right? Because everyone must play in a way that's similar to a cheater, right? Because like I say, if we go back to Valorant, right? If you're playing Valorant without like any kind of wall hacks, just aimbot, you're gonna play like a human most of the time until you start shooting at people.
Well, but that's
the data point, yeah.
Like
that is one data point that it'll attach to people, right?
Yeah.
So if I start playing without the aimbot, suddenly it doesn't have that data point anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna ban you because
And
like,
it's
okay,
not gonna know me.
he was using an aimbot previously. Now this guy isn't.
points.
Yeah.
How is it going to know I'm using an aimbot previously if I'm on a different account?
Okay, what
It
you're
won't
stating
know is what I'm saying.
What you're saying, yes, because it has lack of data. What you're stating is if it has no real data on me, how can it pick me up? It won't. But if it can start building data on you, it'll have a passport of you.
And who knows?
Right, but how does it start building that data?
See, you're also a little.
It could retroactively like start collecting data before like they not like fully release this.
See, and this.
Like,
So this conversation is also a bit more hypothetically, like more so assuming that all other claims are accurate. You won't get caught. They do claim that they're accurate past 99% on like they're incredibly certain of other stuff. I do share the same concerns of like okay, well, what if you, I don't know, what if you're just stupid in the game? and you just play recklessly or something like that, or if you like happen to get like flagged as a criminal. I think there's probably a bunch of dystopian movies about that. I think that's also another issue that they're probably going to deal with. But I'm also assuming that they do have a successful product, because I'm curious what their policy implements are going to be.
Yeah, honestly, like we won't know until we see it.
Actually,
Yeah.
Going back to that, like I have 3 bots playing for me on different accounts, and then I go playing. Those bots are gonna get banned because they're bots.
Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted.
So
to
how
pick
is
up
this
in World of
you?
Tanks.
How is this
that.
you cheating?
Yeah, like you can't know that it's cheating if it's.
But like you're not. Like I don't know like how this is cheating for you. Like this argument is
But
cheating.
I think what you're saying, like what you're saying is you build a passport that isn't actually you, and then you start playing, or you have a passport that has a bunch of data points that really aren't your data points. It's not going to pick up your data points. Like
or who knows? Maybe it'll do the opposite. It'll be like, okay, now things are being abnormal. Ban him now.
Well, but you also have to look at not
Yes,
only
I've
is
got
it
his
building,
data points.
but it'll be building your data points, like your real data points, but it should also be comparing your previous games to how much of a bot does this person actually act like. Like when you replicate this, 98% of the time, bots would have made the exact decisions made here.
I mean, Chris, there are like inherent things, like like captchas and how those things work. Like you know how like some captchas will be like all the things that don't have a traffic light in them.
Yeah.
They're not actually like tracking for you to hit everything that does not have a traffic light in them. That's not the main goal of them. What they're really doing is tracking your mouse to see like how you're clicking on things, how other things are interacting with it. Because robots will do those things inhumanely. Like they'll go straight.
Yeah.
Versus a human that like no matter how straight you do your cursor, you're probably getting like some degree of error.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably like how they actually realize like, okay, this is a bot playing, because like people don't walk around like this. No one makes a 90-degree turn on a completely flat pane. You're in it. There's probably some wiggle room in there.
But I also think for me with World of Tanks, they should enact something like an AI thing, at least to sort through the complaints that come in, because it takes you it took me weeks, like 6 weeks after Clan Wars to get any type of confirmation that my thing had been reviewed, and I'm like, it takes a month. It takes a month and a half after a competitive event.
I feel like it's because they don't review it. Most of them they don't review. They don't care. You were just the squeaky wheel that got the oil.
Yes, but there should be something in there if they care about competitive.
They should
play,
if they care
about it.
Yeah, but
that's my thing too, where it's World of
Now
Tanks.
we're talking about World of Tanks though.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to go to World of Tanks bashing argument.
Well, but that's the point. Is like in Valorant, when you report a player, have you gone?
It tells you.
Well, you have the in-game one where it's like if you have 5 people report a player for comms abuse, if enough people do it, they'll look into it. But if only you, Jorge, do it,
yes,
they're not gonna. It doesn't get checked on. Now, if your whole lobby even bullies somebody and then you report them, you can also kind of get it. It's like they've been looked at.
It does actually only count if you're in a party. Like I've heard about the way the system works in like Riot games is that
none of this is like official, right? Like nothing's been. They don't publish their things.
No, well,
yes and no.
Some of this has been like employees talking about it, but the way they talk about the system is that the choices are just there to make you feel good. The only thing Riot gets is this player was reported. That's it. The choices are to make you feel good, and the text box is to make you feel good. Also, if you're partied up, and like the party sends it as sends like everyone in the party sends it, it only sends one. Like it won't send multiple reports. It'll just send it. Oh, this player that was in a party sent this. Like that's what it'll say.
I hope it's in like a one big one. Like,
that might be like a gaming standard. Like for like gaming companies, because like that's a lot of stuff to sort through if every player has to.
And they can't, and of course they outsource it.
Well, but there's a difference between the in-game report features on most games. On most games,
and
they have
the support page,
which you can. Yeah, the support page is supposed to be air quotes. The thing, if you want to actually get results, and
the support page is definitely outsourced.
Well, yeah, but
it's not wargaming. It's not. I hate games.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing where you should hope. That's where if you get pissed off enough to actually take 10 minutes out of your day to stop playing the game that you want to play, to go upload replays or go put in information, put it like.
That degree, yes. Now, Chris, if you're telling me the guy who stopped playing a game to angrily send me messages in World of Tanks about how ass I am and how I play like a bot, blah blah blah, that he deserves a fair chance to say, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that man was spending an inhumane amount of time doing that kind of thing.
Or the people who like, I think most of us done this in Tanks from when we played it. Like, this guy sent me an angry message. I'm gonna go play stupid in the chat with him. Like, I'm just gonna fuck around with him in the chat.
Oh yeah,
And
I do that.
and he's still responding to me crazy. Like,
my recent thing is I look up how they've been playing recently. Like when people call other people bots in World of Tanks, I look up their recents and then I just talk trash to them about their stats. Because like, truthfully, if you had to look at it, it'd be like a silver yelling at a bronze for being shit, and then you
Which I
have
do.
like Caleb walking in there going, "Shut the fuck up!" Like imagine Caleb walking up to the silver and going, "You know you're retarded, right? Like you know you're stupid, right? Like you know you're just straight up
Yes.
bad at this game, right? Like you
Like,
understand that, right?"
Where does this ego come from?
Yes,
Because you're clearly not winning most of your games either.
dude, and it's like a 48%er after like 30k like 30,000 battles. You can't even win half your games. You're a liability to your team. You understand this, right?
When I retired off tanks, I was Bloomy Cum.
I only saw green.
He said come.
No, Chris, I saw Bloomy Cum.
He said come.
See, now I gotta.
Chris, no, don't worry about it.
It's
None of this is gonna. Yeah.
I always get trolled into looking up stats.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
No, I don't want to get trolled into World Tanks talk.
See, Alejandro, are you sure it wasn't like a white backdrop or something, and you were wearing like blue lensed glasses?
Blue Eyes
Like
White
not.
Dragon?
Yeah, but the only reason I brought up tanks was
I feel like my shirt looks blue right now, even though it's green. Like, it's a very prominent green.
Yeah.
But the only reason I
Okay,
brought
so-
up tanks was because it has like a competitive mode, but it also has a random queue, where it's like a lot of BS happens in the random queues with botting and stuff. But World of Tanks has an issue with not cheats and randoms for like competitive advantage, generally speaking, but really it's for there are entire groups of people who will beat, and normally how they cheat is they rig games. So if you have two platoons playing the exact same tanks, they queue drop. They'll be in two different clans, but they'll queue drop and hopefully match up against each other, because World of Tanks and Valorant would do a similar thing where it tries to match teams of people like 3 stacks against other 3 stacks. So,
Yeah.
but the way that happens in tanks is you just have bots that get loaded into the game that have like their average damage is like nothing, because it's not a person, it's just a thing that gets logged in and plays. So stuff like that, an AI bot should be able to look at and just auto kick those people. Because you see, oh, they were playing for like 1,000 damage a game, or if in Valorant they were playing for 20 kills a game, and all of a sudden it drops down to 5 a game. Their MMR hasn't changed. Nothing has changed about it. They're getting matched up in the exact same way, but their stats are just through the ground. This is not the same person. This account should not be here anymore. Like, that should be something that an AI bot should at least look into and flag and for removal. Because as of right now, there's probably a lot of games in which that's not even happening. The stuff that should get flagged just isn't. And so I think the passport would be a cool thing. Not in the sense that it builds on like me, Chris, but it shows that like there's other people who aren't real people playing the game. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I generally agree with you. I just know that, like, as a passport, it wouldn't work. Really, what you're doing is you're banning behaviors, right? And
That's fine.
If you, yeah, that's completely fine, right? It's just that it's not going to ban people. It's going to ban behaviors. So if this account starts behaving this way, it's going to ban that account. That's all it's going to do. It's not tracking anyone. It's not recognizing you. It's just recognizing the behavior.
That's all depending what kind of cheat
exactly
you're
what
using.
It's doing. Is it's just looking at like
it's behavior. It's looking at the behavior.
That.
Saying you can't play the game that way because people don't play the game that way.
Yeah, you
At least
snapped
people
over
who don't have cheats.
102 pixels exactly to the left, and then went up exactly 10 pixels and shot somebody in the head. It's like, nah.
Yes.
I don't think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I still think it'll work. I think you guys are ignoring the fact that if I go into a new account and don't do cheating behaviors after doing cheating behaviors on previous account, it's succeeded. Like, I'm no longer cheating, and that's
ban the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all it
I
has
think
to.
I think that would be the better way to do it. Because I'm also assuming it would be completely capable of recognizing who you are based on your playstyle. If it's fine with recognizing a cheating playstyle. And so like it could ban just you going forward if it looks out for you.
It could ban just you if you keep on cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep on playing like you're cheating.
Because cheaters usually keep cheating.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying that if you
or even
stop
might,
cheating, it's probably not going to ban you again.
Or maybe it does the retroactive thing. You know, it's like, man, to this day, his gameplay got significantly worse. Like, he's no longer he no longer will pre-aim where enemies are coming from or anything like that. Maybe he was cheating in the past.
Yeah, that's the day I broke my fingers.
And let me ban him.
Yeah,
that's the day I got a girlfriend.
No, see, that's different. I didn't say what's it called. Your aim was worse. I just said you're no longer pre-aiming stuff. I'm not talking about your inherent skill didn't get worse. I'm just talking about the information given to you is no longer there.
Yeah, your behavior changed.
So yeah, we'd be like, okay, like he's doing way worse. He was probably cheating in the
and,
past.
and that's also
Bam.
speculation on how the thing functions. I don't know that. I'm assuming it does to think about like the policies and how it would be used.
We're also talking about speculating about like an all-knowing AI.
Well, yeah, and so like
it's just not possible.
I did go to their website and they do absolutely claim that they know what to do. So I can also link it, though I don't think it has a lot of information on what we're talking about.
I want to see this get
based off
implemented
the interviews, but yeah, I'd like to see it. It's definitely interesting, and it's also like I think something like this is going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
I think gaming companies, the more you can introduce things that
streamline things, make things
See,
easier.
like, I feel like you guys are thinking it can be introduced. I feel like it's not going to get introduced until a research team, like at a university, makes it, and then some kind of company picks it up as a way to sell it to the game companies.
Why wouldn't a game company just develop it themselves?
I think it's going to be sold to game companies.
Because I think it costs too much money to like. I don't think you guys realize how much money it costs to train AIs.
No, you're not wrong, but like with
the kind of hardware you need and the kind of time and power investment you need.
Is a game company not doing what you've been talking about this entire time?
This is a company that has developed this. They haven't put it into a game, as far as I'm aware.
So they're in a separate company. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like they'll probably sell it at one point to a company that'll try to sell it to game companies.
Yeah.
As like at the same way as Easy AntiCheat.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly.
Or like Battle Eye.
Then yeah, I mean, still think it gets implemented pretty easily and stuff like that.
Maybe.
Especially like, I know we say like we don't save any data on you. Surprise, we actually saved like the last 500 games of most people, or like the last 500 games played on the server, or something like that in replay vaults.
World of Tanks does that. They have a replay of every game, so it's like they have those files.
Yeah, it's like they have the files, so let's just run something to train stuff, blah blah, however that works.
See, I can see World of Tanks having that. Games like Valorant that don't have a replay system.
Yes.
I don't really see having that. Like I don't like the reason they don't have a replay system is because they don't collect that data in a way that's easy to reproduce it.
So you think though, like
it takes a lot of.
If you know, like,
how is Valorant going to do it? You'd have to reconstruct the entire map or save. It's just the way of how you decide to do it. It's a lot of data to store. And
Overwatch does it. Overwatch does like
and I don't doubt that whatever engine Overwatch is built on has deterministic physics and like deterministic everything, so they can use that kind of, minimal amount of data to recreate it.
Does it do it the same way as World of Tanks, where like you end up?
I don't know how they do it, honestly.
And you just like.
I just know like you can look at the video, like you can look at anyone's point of view. You will get like this is how much health they have. This like when they're getting shot. You can see tracers in the air if you pause the video.
Everything. You go around It might do the same thing World of Tanks does, where it saves a file of what exactly happened during the maps and literally does it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like simulates.
No, a game of Overwatch is shorter than a game of Valorant on every average. Like a round of Overwatch is way shorter. Like the longest game mode in Overwatch is 10 minutes. Then like goes into overtime for however long that might go, but like even then, like you're only getting like 5 more minutes at most.
Yeah.
So the points are like 5 minutes. Touch the objective, King of the Hill. First to 3 points. So maybe you go into 15 minutes like that. And Overwatch is fun. I think it's definitely funner than Valorant. I'm not gonna say anything about like being better or worse. They're kind of like separate games. I'd rather play Overwatch than Valorant though. I think Valorant, I don't like the baseline it's been built on. Versus Overwatch is just a team-based shooter. Okay, like these characters all like everyone has their own unique guns. I always like that. That's part of the reason I like to see over Valorant. I also think that makes balance easier. Like when you don't have to worry about universal things as much. Okay, I can just nerf this one character's kit. Well, not like I can nerf his gun included with this kit, and it won't ruin the rest of the meta. Well, we noticed Chamber's performing really well with the op. Can't nerf the op. Like everyone can use it. We have to nerf
so they nerf Result, the second best thing.
Well, yeah, but I just think that's like.
No, I never really thought about that as like you take out universal things. Like a lot of games have universal just things in them, and characters are the things that are different. But it's kind of hard when you just have certain characters tied to certain mainstays in the game that are just can't really nerf the mainstay without just throwing the game sideways.
Yeah, like you can't nerf a gun in Valorant. Same way, like doesn't one character perform well with it?
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Siege and Battles, that reminds me. This was a while back, but I remember Siege they would track like pick rates and win rates with their operators, and they would kind of balance at least partially around that. And I remember thinking like, wait a minute, if you're banning operators on pick rates, or sorry, not being like nerfing or buffing based on pick rates. What if the operator is not necessarily good? What if they're fun for a casual play?
Yeah, and I know exactly what chart you're talking about. I'll see if I can pull up one of these charts.
Yeah, and like I'm like putting words in their mouths as well, but it's also like I feel like that is at least on some level an oversight.
It definitely is, but I also feel like in Valorant, I know that they make a lot of decisions based on like Pro League at times, and it doesn't feel bad because in Valorant, the casual way to play the game, it doesn't matter if this character is worse or better, because it's like there's already such an established like skill floor where like if you're playing in bronze and they nerf chamber and you're a chamber main, you're not going to like drop to iron. You're still going to be a bronze player because you are in bronze because you suck at the game like completely.
Yeah, the difference between the operator levels doesn't matter.
Is not what's making the difference to you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like in Immortal, right? Let's say Immortal, that's already like top fraction of a percent at that point. It'll make more of a difference, but you can easily just play a different agent, right? And like your skill will transfer over because the agents don't completely make up the game you're playing.
I mean, I just posted an example of a chart. I found this. It has a meme attached to it, but it's like charts that they use, where it's like win rate and pick rate.
It literally says platinum and above.
A year ago or so, at least.
Yeah, this is year 6, and it's like they obviously are balancing with a higher skill level. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind balancing for the higher skill level. I don't like balancing for Pro League. Those are two different things. Like the highest ranks in a ranked game versus a Pro League game are two different things. There's just completely different metas, almost not completely different, but there is inherent meta changes.
Yes and no. The way that Valorant does it, you're never going to have the level of coordination pro players have, but the things pro players do, if you watch them, the basic things they do are always going to be better than what like the regular people are doing. Mm-hmm. Like, and I say regular people. When I say that, I mean below Radiant, below Immortal, right? Because the vast majority of pro players are Immortal or Radiant, right? Mm-hmm. And they're competing on a different thing. So the few pro players that do care about ranked, they're all like top 100 Radiants versus like a top 3,000 Immortal. Like there's a huge difference in that gap, even if it may not seem like it, because even though they're already better than like the rest, the gap between like the top 0.1% and the 0.05% or whatever is huge. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's also like their approach to the game. Like if you're a streamer or you're a pro player, that's what you do. You have the extra time in it and extra incentive to do it. I think that's different than just someone who's really good at it, who enjoys it, or someone who is kind of no-lifing it, where they might have the time to do it, but
yeah, let's compare it to Chris and his stats in World Tanks. Chris, aren't your stats like in the top 1%?
In certain ways, yes.
Like if I had to take your WN8, yeah, if I just had to look at your WN8.
My recent over the last 1,000, I can send you. I don't know if I want to post it, but it
won't be shown on stream. Don't worry.
No, I don't care. I care less if we post it or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But I'll put it like this. Do this one.
Yeah, I see a lot of purple in the last 1,000 games. 63% win rate. Does that not put you like as a Unicum, like top 1%er?
Yeah. So when it's between purple and dark purple, it puts me in between the top 0.1 and the top 0.01 if it's dark purple. But you also have to take into account how many accounts is this comparing me against? Is it comparing it against players who haven't played in the last 1,000 or last 30 days? Because if you haven't played any games, why should I be compared against you? So you have to take that into account. You also have to take into account that like in a multiplayer game, I was watching Shazam and he was talking about a couple things about like ranked being different, like high level ranked and pro play being different. And he also he was like, one thing he said just like really stuck with me. He's like, yeah, you have to understand that most people that play a video game are like seriously bad at the game. Like, And that's like not even like to be mean. It's just like you take the bottom half of like the players that try to play a game competitively, they're literally terrible at the game. Like, and you could count it in like an almost endless way. Like when you watch their gameplay, they're doing like everything wrong. So it's like the only way, because like you can say this is like top 0.1 or top 0.01% kind of stuff, but I think it's only fair to compare me against people who also know life this game, and then say like, okay, you've been playing this game for 4 years, like now, and you've no lifed it. What are your stats against other people who have done this? I think that's a fair thing. I also just don't know in this one how when they rank you like by color, how exactly that stacks up.
And World Tank sets are also have their issues of how they collect them only in quick play, or not quick play, random battles.
Yeah, but that's also the thing, because it doesn't have a sustained ranked.
No, yeah. And I think if it had a sustained ranked, it would have been... I don't know how to do it. That's the issue. Like, I don't know if it'd be actually better.
Yeah, and
I think it would be better in the sense that the only people that it's comparing against are the people that... Presumably the people that are playing ranked are the people that are trying.
That I mean, but I just can't understand like how you would set up the game mode.
Well, and I think the way Wargaming did it is basically as good as it's going to get. Is the people who want to play competitive against teams that are just as competitive as them, is you do things like advances. So at night, when we hop on, advances start at 10 o'clock, and they run every hour for like 3 hours. Well, you're going to get ranked against another team that's around similar. I think they rank you by average personal rating whenever you go into the matchmaker. So you get matched up against somebody roughly your skill level. Now you're matching up against another 15 players that are around your skill level. That makes sense. If you were just to do things like marks of excellence in this game, can't exist if the randoms isn't a thing. Because like if you had ranked play and marks of excellence in like a ranked play like Valorant has, all a mark of excellence is how hard can you pub stomp. The better players are going to play against better people. So like it's a lot easier to get a 45 kill game if you're a bronze player playing in a bronze lobby than it is for a radiant player playing in a radiant lobby. Because like you can make so many less mistakes and not get away with it. Versus
but that's where I think I would like to see instead leaderboards, which like World of Tanks does do, and I think they do them pretty well, like tank leaderboards and things like that.
They do,
because like that is direct comparison to other people of your skill level in the tank, like in similar like positions, right? And it's reset every month or whatever.
Yeah,
every 30 days. Or I think so like that is like perfect. Right? Now, and like those radiants, they don't care about the rest of the player base anyways. Like those features, I don't think would make any difference to them because they did. If they existed, say in Valorant, they would have gotten them way before they hit Radiant, right? What I think more Radiants care about is playing the game better, or what's it called again? Their streaming career, their position on the leaderboard, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's because you're grinding it out. You're trying to get good at the game. What's the measure of you being good? You're on the leaderboards for top 100 in NA. Yeah, you're there. Like you're
good. You're good.
Yeah, like just straight up, and you're undeniable because you've played so many games, and you're just like in World of Tanks, you have 5K win 8 over your last 1,000 battles. You're gaming. Like you're just it's undeniable.
How do you guys feel about this goes back to like that picture of like usage rate that I posted for Siege win rate. How do you guys feel about like overbearing picks in a meta? Like this person is like the 100% everyone always like this guy for a team composition game. Even though you have a lot of characters, this character is almost on all of them. Like let's go Valorant again. Let's say every single team has an Omen because he's the best smoker. You're statistically worse using all the other ones, but he's good, but he's not overpowering good. He's just better than the rest.
See, I think this is where like character design or gameplay of a character comes into play. Because if his gameplay loop is fun for people to play against, or at least neutral, I don't really care. Just like I don't care if they nerf him, because like Omen has nothing in his kit that makes me go, "Fuck, that's unfair." But that's because like most people in Valorant don't have that. Yeah. Now, if we go to like Smite, when I used to play Smite, and Opwash was in the game, Opwash had so much bullshit in his kit. Like he'll throw something, and it'll slow you. There's no way for you to like get out of the way without a dashing ability. Even if you do dash, he can what's it called again? He can just hit you with his next ability. And when he was like powerful, completely just slow you, shut you down. You can't do anything against it. You have like very little counterplay to that kind of playstyle, and it makes the game not fun, right? Like that, I think speaks more to like Opwash was designed as a boring, it was poorly designed because he's bad to play against. He's unfun to play against, right? Not because I'm losing, but because it makes the game not the game anymore.
What about something like Landers in Pokemon, Landers Therian? Because he has like last generation, let's go to Gen 8. He had like a 46% win pick rate, but he would never be the guy who like sweeped your team of Pokemon.
So like real
That's
quick
like his
before
thing.
we,
Like he's a defensive like wall.
So before we kind of change gears with like the game real quick, I want to like so I think I agree with where it is like unfun if you have like a mainstay where they almost define the meta. But I think what Valorant does really well is they have a lot of redundancy in their characters. So like a horse almost a smoker. A smoker is like a type of character, so to speak. You know, like
controller, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like in Siege, there's a dozen hard breachers. You know, like back in the day, like real back in the day, there was only Thermite, and so like Thermite was everywhere.
It should have only been Thermite Hibana.
But so they did add Hibana, and so it's like you're not gonna get. Yeah, but you're less likely to get that because if you want to kind of go with some kind of playstyle, there's more options for you, and you could.
But they added
move
Hibana, and where her character is just a better Thermite in almost like every situation.
So you are correct.
Like
but the
idea behind it wasn't terrible.
Balance issue.
Yeah, the idea behind it probably isn't terrible. Like, let's give options. She has like her X-Cairo things, whatever. Can break 3 hatches versus Thermite who can only break 2 things. Thermite can make 2 big holes, and she can only make 1.5 big holes. So it's like they have some differences. Like you want to be a bit more tactical. She can shoot them from a distance. Thermite has to walk up and place them.
Well,
however, like, Hibana, she had a way better gun. She had a way better secondary. She had the advantage of having a female hitbox Siege, which was just an unfair advantage for most of the characters, just because they had smaller hitboxes.
Women are better. What can I say?
Yeah, women are better than men in war. So
that's something that Valorant does really well, where the hitboxes are the same for every single character.
And
in any instances where they feel different, they adjust the character model so that it does not feel different. Like Sage recently had her ponytail made shorter, so that it didn't look like her head was so tall.
That's hilarious.
I know, but it's perfect. It makes sense. Like it's a great way to balance that.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's great for balance. Horrible for like character design stuff. This goes back to my thing where like we're talking about like how every single, almost all the women characters in Valorant honestly look pretty thin. They're like, I know the hitboxes don't change between men and women. Even like Skye isn't like, I know she's supposed to be portrayed as like a muscular woman. She is more muscular than most of the other women on there, but like, she's not that muscular for a woman. Like she just can't. Like I know it's to some degree, you can't do that for a game like that. You can't make a character that looks fucking yoked or the opposite. Like you can't make a character look smaller. But that's just a limitation of the thing.
Maybe in build they all look like similar, like in terms of like build.
They almost all 100% look
in clothing and in style wise, they are all completely different. Because if you see green, like there's only 2 agents in the game that have green as their main color.
Their builds are literally like all the same, and it's all the same, and it's all a weird build to have for what I'm assuming are like agents that are fighting each other in like a combat situation. Like I imagine way more of the agents looking like Skye, like built up, like for the women, built up things, and like more of the men agents looking like Brim, like a built up dude.
I think that's kind of an artifact.
Your perception of it.
Well, yeah, trying to like make characters, and so characters are just kind of like Brimstone is the old retired military dude that's kind of chubby. Or just
but I'm also imagining imagining like Solid Snakes, like for the men, a lean but like built guy.
Well, see, and this is also I think this is also toned. I see. Well, this is also like I think this is an artifact of it being part hero shooter. I feel like that attitude you're coming with is more like a COD kind of thing, where let's make it more realistic. Yeah.
Because of like the hero shooter stuff, like you can say the only reason like Sage isn't all tone like that is because her abilities aren't like physical exertion.
She's called Sage.
I can lift a wall. I can throw a ball that makes things slow, like, and I can heal people. That's not physical exertion. And the same goes for the Jet, right? Jet could be so skinny because she's using wind all the time to move her around.
I'm just saying, like for character designs, it's limiting. You can't even add inclusive body types.
One body style.
I mean, I also think
I don't know if that's a problem. If for the balance of the game, for the competitiveness,
I think the balance, it's completely fine that like everyone has the same body type. It makes you don't get the Siege issue where like all the women have way smaller bodies, like hitboxes than the men, except for Gridlock. You know. But like it's just that Gridlock was a massive woman, like Siege. She got introduced with Mozzie.
Yeah,
yeah.
Which is also ironic because Mozzie's like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, he's like 4'10"
Wow.
versus like her like 5'8" or 5'10".
Yeah, but honestly, I'd imagine like as long as they keep the basic kind of like size of the hitbox pretty good, then they could probably add like a more inclusive body type. And again, this is a hero shooter as well, and like Jorge said, like people aren't reliant to on their physical abilities and stuff like that. With Sage being thin, they could make someone who's more like fat and stuff like that, and it would like not be immersion breaking.
Mm-hmm.
It would be immersion break. I'm just saying it's a limited character thing. I don't even think in the art they take the chances to like make a character look different than the rest of the pack body type.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I just think they could there's room to.
I think Yoru looks the most different of all the male agents. Like he looks very much like a very like slim.
Does he though?
Like
compared to Gecko now?
Gecko just kind of looks like an athletic tone guy. I don't think Gecko looks slim. The same way Yoru looks slim. And honestly, like what Chris was saying about Brimstone, where Brimstone looks like the quote unquote chubby, I really just think he looks like
to me, I imagine
the older guy.
Yeah, that's what he is.
That's
He's
what he
like
looks
a
like to me.
retired military dude.
And he looks that way. He doesn't look like a generic. He just looks like that way.
Yeah, but that's also like the hero style thing where you're trying to make a character. Right?
Yeah.
Making the whole character, his ult is an orbital strike. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I just like to imagine like the. Yeah, I just think we should imagine. I don't know. I like to imagine things like would be like the real life equivalent of these people, and like how would I imagine like something like that would look?
I think Harbor is a great example of what I think someone like that would look. You
Maybe
know, archaeologist that works out like in the field and things like that. He looks like he's ripped. Like he really does. And in his like Carter, because he has one where I'm pretty sure he's like surfing shirtless.
Yeah, dude,
like, he's just ripped.
Yeah, like
it makes sense.
I pulled up a picture of him next to Indiana Jones. They're identical.
I mean, Harrison Ford is like not that bad of a guy. Like, I don't know. There's also like you lose a certain amount of like quality in actual like 3D models versus the thing. Like versus a 2D painting. That's worse. Yeah, but like Harper's like Harper looks built and all that. But does he really look that different than the rest of the Cassies around?
Like in game or on like his art?
Art.
I'm not sure, but also I think there's a little bit of a disconnect because I mean,
yeah.
Well, and also like I think I think there is definitely room for the design team to like include different body types. I just think they haven't. I'm not sure.
Look at something like Overwatch.
It's a game balance thing.
Overwatch has like its own like you said, unique body types are way more unrealistic. It's also a way more unrealistic like universe.
Yeah, and every character has their own unique hitbox.
Yeah, it's like they have way more freedom from like a design, like not only gameplay balance, but like I can make whatever character I want the way I want to make them look.
Yeah,
you just get like way more like interesting looking things that like a character can look one way in the art and also look the same way in game without like having to worry about it.
I guess, which
whatever
isn't a subjective opinion. You guys want to call it? Want to wrap up?
Wrap this up now.
Sure.
All right.
Episode 2.
Unzipping
the files. Episode 2.